Sure you don't want some coffee?
Well, let me tell you something, baby. Is it possible that I want some coffee and that I'm serving up some coffee? And I say, are you kidding me? Listen, everybody, it is the big shebang for Sixth Scale Cantina. It is the market show live here on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. And look at this fine panel that I have in here today. And are you kidding me? Because there is some crazy market news that I didn't even share with anybody here on the panel. And maybe they already know about it. But look, we're just going to go in here and serve up the coffee. I've got the pots all brewing. Let me know what table you're sitting at, sisters, what table you're sitting at, brothers. And I've got the spatchka. I've got lots of spatchka sitting here. Come on. And I got the wizard juice. You guys all know that we need the wizard juice. Look, I'm going to go introduce my first panel guest in here using a phrase that you use, Lael. You know what time it is. I've got the wizard juice here, baby. How you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling great, man. Thanks for having me tonight, man. I really appreciate being here with everyone. It's been a good week. So yeah, man, why not just round it out with being here? So yeah, man, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, and it has been a good week. So good having 16ScaleMan in here. Yeah. And look who's in here. Rrr Mmmm, fantastic. You got me thinking, what is that Ahsoka going to come out? Maybe we're going to talk about that tonight. What's going on? Glad to have you in here.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you. And I can't get Ahsoka off my mind, so I decided to, create the look in, as best as I could. And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the figures tonight, and I'm excited to be here. It's going to be great, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I didn't even need to put Ahsoka Tano on the banner because we got you right in here with this. That is awesome. Welcome in here in the cantina. The man, the maestro, the man of hot collectibles, Dante. How hard are you, brother?
Oh man, like after the freaking wizard took over. No good, man. No bueno. No bueno. But I'm happy to be here, Lael. KeCO, Willfoxification, brother cousins, everyone on the chat. Happy to be here, man.
Look, I don't get this. Some people had the ill effects. KeCO, we all saw what happened with Will. He had ill effects. KeCO, I don't think you had any ill effects when the Hot Toys Wizard took on your likeness.
I mean, the only thing I noticed is that there was a little bit of strain in the voice. It wasn't the deep baritone, lovely velvety voice that you hear right now. It was a little bit strained. I think the Hot Toys Wizard may have had a cold at that time.
Yeah,
but, I came out okay.
Yeah, he may have had one of those variants and whatnot. Will, how are you feeling? Look, I don't want to speak for you, but only you can speak on how you're feeling after the wizard took on your likeness, baby.
Right. I feel pretty good, Ayers. I think I had a concussion maybe from the fall because I fell pretty hard for those who watch it. Like I was just recording a video and then I felt like the spirit take me over and I just fell. Luckily I fell on the carpet. Thank God. And I had like a little dinosaur mat right there. So I fell very gently. But other than that, man, it was a very traumatic experience. So, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but when the wizard does leave your body, it is. And also, I do miss the hair because the wizard helped me grow hair really quickly.
Really?
I lost it all. Yeah.
Really?
So,
well, you know what? I got to tell you something. If the wizard helped you grow hair, is it possible that I need him to take over my body ASAP because I need some help?
We can't all be blessed like KeCO and Lael. We can't be blessed with beautiful hair. I mean, and Dante too, for that matter. So I don't know. Brother Cousins has space pimp hair. He has great hair too. So pretty much everyone on this panel except for you and me, it's fine.
And listen, welcome everybody in here to the Market Show live here on a Saturday evening. I am here with a bunch of friends, and it is so cool. I feel the vibe already. Before we get to brother cousins, look who we got into the house, dude. Mike from UsualMikeTelevision. Mike, I've been watching you for a long time, man. Welcome in here. I know you talk a lot about Black Series, a lot about Hasbro. Got to talk some Hot Toys today. Welcome in here, my friend. How are you?
Thank you for having me, everybody. I'm sorry I'm very late. I tried to help one of my elderly neighbors set up a printer, and the little old ladies don't have a few minutes. They've got all day, and it's like, oh, come on, I gotta get on a show. I'm sorry for my lateness.
No, it's quite all right. It's real good to have you in here, and you're from what, in Australia, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
And I guess it's, what time is it over there? I know over here it's the evening here in Pittsburgh.
10:15 Sunday morning.
Wow.
In the future.
Wow. So all the way over here in Western PA, all the way over there, the opposite time. Welcome in here, Mike. So good to have you in here. And brother cousins.
Hey.
Congrats again. I know everyone said
so
congrats
much.
to you on Thursday, but congrats. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Oh, I'm tired.
Really?
So tired.
You don't say.
I don't remember what sleep was. I just.
You're not going to for a little bit. Are you guys now? Did you work out who's taking the turns, or are you both just waking up every hour? How's that working out?
We were both waking up like every hour on hour, but now it's like we're taking turns. She's like, your turn. I'm like, ugh. So, yeah, but we got a little help too. My mom's here helping, so yeah, we got a little sleep last night, like 2 hours worth. So yeah, it's fun.
Well, that's awesome. And let's say hi, everybody, to some of the people in here. And we have got, it's Popsic in the house today. Popsic, what is going on? And we all know what table that Popsic sits at, right? He sits at table 5. Let me know what table you're at. But if you're sitting at table 5, you're with Popsic and you're with this guy.
I'm from
Already with the refill. Are you kidding me? Come on. Let's go to some of these other comments. That is it here. Single songwriter, always on a lot of our streams. Single songwriter, good to have you in here. And Bugman is in the house. Oh my God, UsualMikeTelevision. I haven't seen you in like forever. Yes, you've got some fans in here and Usual Mike, so that is awesome. Paul Morales in the house. Joey Mellerin is in here. Fabio, light a cigar for me, baby. How are you feeling? Fabio's in here. That's awesome. The Thor 2941, and it's Popsic jabbing Fabio already. Better late than never. Listen, Fabio's never ever late to anything that I have. So I don't know, Dante, what you're talking about, or anybody out there, but at least he's on time with me. Big Dog Pound is in here. Love it, KeCO. Something you were saying, KeCO, that the Padawan collector loves. The collector.
I think it was my 1800. Someone asked what I was drinking, and I'm on 1800. For anyone wondering, I think that's what they were excited about.
Well, welcome to everybody in here to the Market Show live here on Saturday evening. We sure have a whole lot to discuss and to talk about. First, I'm going to go ahead and put this up onto the screen, if I could actually share the page that I have, and just go ahead and bear with me here. And here we go. I'll put that up on the screen. And as you're all familiar, if you don't know what this is SixthScaleCantina.com. If you don't have SixthScaleCantina.com bookmarked, you may want to consider doing so. It has all the latest information for 1/6 scale Star Wars Hot Toys. Also, everything that's going on the channel, like if you check the website out regularly, you would know that I have the Market Show live tonight with this fine banner up over here. Buckle up. Star Wars is hot, baby. It sure is. And there's a lot of things we're going to discuss on here today, including a couple of market things. You can see what the #1 mover is, and just updated today. The Han and Chewbacca A New Hope. Did it just make some historic news for Star Wars Hot Toys? And it sure did. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. We also got a new section on here, Star Wars versus Marvel, pre-order and in-stock comparisons, which we're going to go over in a little bit here on later on in this show. But the first thing I want to talk about, which could lay breadcrumbs for future perhaps releases, but this kind of blew everybody away. I knew a lot of people were kind of looking forward to this. And I saw a lot of the responses, and I really didn't get a chance. I'll start with you, Brother Cousins, to kind of go over this week. You could see here the DeLorean, and man, it looks really, really good. So I just want to get your first impressions. This is going to be really the first time that the Dark Jedi here is really diving into this. I have some thoughts on it, and I have some initial thoughts on coming out with a release like this. But what is your impressions about this release? Go.
Well, the thing is, we were waiting for this for like, I think about 5 years. They showed this at I think it was San Diego Comic-Con in 2017 or maybe 2000. I think it was 2000. It may have been 2015, honestly. So we've been waiting for this for a long time. I think a big inkling that we were going to get it eventually is when they re-released the original Marty from Back to the Future along with the Back to the Future 2 figures, and they also showed us a different version of the DeLorean too with that one. But I knew once those figures got a 2.0 and they decided to do the Western versions of Marty and Doc Brown, that this was going to be around the corner. And I know collectors were asking for this for a long time. And if you look for the original one, there's one that's behind me right there, that it's going on eBay right now for about $2,500. Maybe, I think the cheapest I've seen it was used at about $1,300. I know that's all going to change now that this one is out. Because I think with the ability of it looks that this one has the ability to swap out parts, so you could put it back on the road, making it look more of the G1 version. So I don't know what's going to happen with this, but I know I'm ecstatic. I'm great. I'm happy. I know a lot of people are like, but yours is already flying, which it is. I bought, different pieces and stuff like that to get that, to rig it up, to get it to look like that. But I think now that this one is coming, I think I still got some time. When I do get this one will be my Back to the Future 2 version, and then I'll flip that one back to the G1, the Mach 1 DeLorean. So yeah, I'm definitely getting it in my collection. If anybody wanted to know, yes, I'm getting it. Definitely getting it. Just to have another one at that price range is amazing.
Yeah. So what do you think about the price on this, Brother Cousins? Just real quickly at that price range for Hot Toys. You're good with it?
This is the first time that I've seen the price. Is it about eight? What is it? 850?
825. Yeah.
825.
That's about right. The original one was 6 something. I think it was 650 if I'm not mistaken, something like that. I know somebody in the chat will correct me on that. But so yeah, with inflation that makes sense. And then you have the parts that can, like I said, I think what it looks like, you could take those wheels off and put it back on the road. And then you're getting more lighting effects at the bottom and everything. So that makes sense. I was thinking, like, in my little review of it, I was thinking this was going to be easy $1,000, honestly. The question is now, are they gonna make this one? Are they gonna make the Wild West one? Are they gonna make the one from Back to the Future Part 3 with with all the doohickeys on top? Or is that gonna be like an expansion kit that you can buy and just piece it together? I think they would do something more like that, opposed to having another DeLorean released. But who knows?
Well, no, good thoughts there, Brother Cousins. Before we move to KeCO and the rest of the panel, Aaron Logan, thank you for the $5 drop. This may be the best panel of the year. Well, thank you. My Hot Toys and the vintage collection world colliding. Absolutely. We've done that with Victoria, certainly doing that here with Usual Mike. Great to see Usual Mike. Another shout out over there. Let's mixing up the panel over here. KeCO, your thoughts on this? I mean, and it's very interesting what Brother Cousin said, because I was tracking where this is going right now, best-selling wise, and actually at this price point at $825, it's getting up there. So a lot of people kind of, it looks like right now are pre-ordering this. But your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so he hit it right on the head with it being right around the 2,500, $3,000 mark on eBay secondary markets, which for me, I have all the Back to the Future figures, I have the Blitzway Ghostbusters, and I was debating if I'm going to go all in on one big vehicle, it's got to be the Ecto-1 because, you know, that's just for me is going to be the one because I wasn't going to pay $3,000 for a DeLorean as opposed to, you know, to me, I felt like the Ecto-1 was more iconic because they're most likely never going to re-release that one. There's maybe an afterlife version that they're going to do, but the original one from Blitzway never probably come in again. But that being said, that hot toy or on Sideshow, the Blitzway Ecto-1 was $1,300. You know, that was from like a couple of years ago. That's expensive for a 6 scale vehicle. Now, granted, this is a little bit smaller, but I think at the price point, it just is. It's a no-brainer. If you have any idea that you want to possibly have a 6 scale vehicle, this has the silhouette, this has the size that I think would fit your collection. If you're into Back to the Future, if not, then obviously don't go down that route by any means. But $825 for upgrade, it's essentially just exactly, you know, an upgrade of what we got with just a little bit of inflation built in, and it makes sense to me. I 100% will get it. And the thing about this that's awesome is the display stand that gives it that flying look. And to me, that sold me 100%. And I said, there is no way I'm not getting that. So in a perfect world, I can maybe find, you know, the Blitzway Ecto-1 eventually down the road, but I know that I can have this one now because that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, no, very, very interesting with this, and totally agree with you. And a lot of people feel your way. Lael, let me go to you with this release over here. What was your initial thoughts? How are you feeling about this? It looks like I was telling KeCO, it is actually selling pretty good at this, at least right now. Anyway, we'll see what happens over the next week or two. But all those Back to the Future releases for a while were you know, up there in the best selling for weeks when they first came out. What do you think?
Oh man, this takes me back to 1989. Like seriously, sitting at the Eric Theater, I had now back then it was like a what was it like a $3 tub of popcorn. You know, you can get actually a soda for like $1.50, and you had a candy bar. You had a pack of Twizzlers that you can actually buy for 50 cents. Like literally, that's back in '89. It's not too far off, you know, to be if you think about it. Like now, from then to now, and you know, you're paying like $16 for a almost damn near small popcorn, you know. But no, it takes me back to then because we actually saw it in the theater in 3D. And you know, I love that experience with the family. Definitely a Back to the Future fan. And like this piece looks amazing. Like I actually what kind of like, you know, impressed me was, you know, just the photography, like the photos, like the you know what I mean, the prototype photos that actually were taken of this. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's
well lit. It shows you the features, the pieces, you know, that come with it. I love, you know, it gives me hope. It gives me a lot of hope for, you know, the possibility of other vehicles that we can actually see released. You know, such as, you know, hopefully Anakin Starfighter. Like I said, I'm still pushing that. You know, I'm still hoping that they would actually do that because yes, I will get it. I love that piece so much. But yeah, like I said, if you are a Back to the Future fan, this is definitely the piece to get. You know what I mean? Especially with the re-release of the actual figures itself. And a lot of us knew that this was coming. You know what I mean? You knew it was coming once you saw the figures. You can tell that they were cooking up something, and it was a lot of, you know, chit chatter, you know, behind the scenes, you know, about the possibility of us actually getting this vehicle. So yeah, man, like I mean, it looks fabulous. And the only thing that for me, because I kind of stick to a certain scheme, but I was talking to Will about this the other day. Like we talk about that, but then we want one-offs. We want things that are actually completely out of the realm, you know, away from the IP. So even though I'm sitting here now saying it's not something that I think I would get, it is something that I'm really thinking about because I'm like, you know what? It is nostalgia. Anytime you can actually get your hands on a piece of nostalgia and it takes you back, you know what I mean? I definitely, you know, applaud that. And it just shows like straight up innovation when it comes to, you know, and it allows us to see what Hot Toys really can do. And what they're capable of doing. And on top of that they're slightly listening because there was a lot of people that were talking about this piece and wanted it. So they were like, okay, we'll drop it. And they actually dropped it right after Valentine's Day. So they showed some love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, I mean, I can't say enough about it, man. I love the light up features, the LEDs. I mean, it looks, now here's my thing. I hope it looks exactly like this because, you know, once we get it in hand, like it's never dim. Like it's dimmed a bit. It doesn't really look as light or as vibrant. But again, yeah, like, I mean, it, you know, it shows, you know, pretty much the intricacies of the actual piece. It looks good. You know, yeah, I mean, it's, again, right now, I'm saying it's not for me, but closer to the time of the release, I might say, yeah, I might think I have to get this piece, you know what I mean, just to get it. But then now I got to go back and get Marty, Doc, you know what I mean? It's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what, really, and it's like I'm saying, okay, now, show me your hands. Really show me your hands. Give me a Biff. Come on. If you're gonna actually give me Marty,
if they give me a Biff,
if they give me a Biff, it's like it's over. And you know what? And I want
Or
both versions
at least.
Exactly.
Because that's real toyetic. To get with the pit bull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Do that.
Yeah,
and I want both versions. I want the young version and the old version. Give me both.
We dive in together, just like with the quarter scale stuff now, because of the freaking Boba Fett they just came out with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you're right on with this. I echo everything that you're saying. I feel the same thing. And if they come out with a Biff and Aram, let's go to you, because I another thing that echoes with me, what Lael said, it's given me a lot of hope for some things. That's one of the first things that I love Back to the Future. But you know, I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, so I start thinking, you know, Lael brings up the Jedi Starfighter. I start thinking other things. Man, this looks hot. What did you think when you saw this?
Well, it's practically perfect, and you know, no matter what you're into, this is going to be a jewel in your collection. You know, the price, as far as I'm concerned, is inexpensive for what you're getting. You know, I don't think we're ever going to see any other vehicles like this with this detail. And having that character that we're looking for, because we want to get a sense of the feel of that particular version. And, you know, they have to be very specific to do that. And this captures it to a T. So the $800, for me, that's not expensive. I would possibly pay $1,200 for this if I had to, if I really wanted it, because when you look at the quality of it and what you're getting, it probably is worth more of the $1,200 range as far as I'm concerned. And I agree with Lael about the vibrancy of some of the colors, or even the tone of, you know, the vehicle itself, because DeLoreans didn't have paint on them, right? So it's supposed to be that steel or raw steel or whatever you call that, whatever they call that buffed steel look. And, you know, we were looking for that. And I think that, you know, if it doesn't have the right colors, you know, and seems slightly off, then you might say, well, that's not giving me the nostalgia I wanted from that. But this one's strong nostalgia. And for people who are completionists, or, you know, or feel that they have to have every piece, you really need to pick this one up. You really need to pick this one up. And, you know, there's no shame in deciding, or, you know, saying I can't hold on to it, but own it for a little while. And then, you know, if your finances say you can't own it anymore, then go ahead and sell it. But honestly, you know, I would buy this if I could. I think it's something that you're always going to treasure, and it's going to like grab attention. So every time you look at it in the room, you're like, oh yeah, DeLorean. Okay. You're like have to calm yourself down because it looks so amazing. I agreed with KeCO about the flying feel that it has in this stand. And, you know, this just shows you what they can do with just a simple piece of plastic when it's done the right way. You know, it can show off, you know, what we're looking for in a very specific way. You know, we wouldn't like it if it had a clunky piece at the bottom and, you know, it didn't have that elegant flow to it. We needed it to have that, you know, kind of almost floating in the air feel. And this picture captures that to a T. It's a wonderful piece. It's a win-win. It's a win-win, Aries.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you. And the more I keep thinking about it, it is, as you were basically saying, spec perfect, a real piece of art. And you have to wonder if I mean, you know, we always talk about the head sculpts. When you look at something like this, maybe sometimes we take some of the clothing and some of the other things on figures for granted. But man, this is really good. But I'm going to put this up real quick from Sixth Scale Mafia, who will be joining with us in a little bit. And getting ready for my show tonight, almost wrapped up. Is it possible I'll be here shortly with this panel? And I say yes, but will it be me or will it be the Hot Toys Wizard? Well, make sure you're not sick there, baby. Make sure you get the positive end. That you have to wonder. But thank you so much for that. I flashed that up there a couple of times.
Aries, can I say one thing?
Please, yeah, go ahead.
3 words. Ready Player One. This is what I'm looking at right now. And I was like, damn, okay. Maybe I have to get it. Maybe I have to get it. Because I love Ready Player One.
Oh, yes.
And when this showed up, I was like, oh,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, oh, they're just killing this. All right, Dante, let me get your thoughts on this. Man of Hot.
I was very surprised. Actually very happy to see this happening because I got Marty McFly a few months ago, and I didn't have the chance to get the original ones back in the day, so I was in the hunt for the DeLorean. So when we were told that this is gonna be happening at one point, I was pretty much just waiting for the announcement. So I'm very happy. There's 2 things, right? For this one, yesterday we had a show and we were talking about this more in detail. But if you see the tires, right, it's not like straight. Like if you see the movie, actually the tires are in the middle when you fold them. It is not a deal breaker. It is definitely not. I think it does look amazing. The amount of detail, wiring, and lighting. You can actually plug in a USB and just connect it straight to the wall for power. So that's perfect. You don't have to use batteries anymore. You have a stand where you can display it, whether like a OG, without folding the tires or flying like that. So it is really nice. Paint application and everything. Even Fabio had his DeLorean, and we just kind of comparing a little bit some pieces here and there, and this one is definitely an improvement. And I kind of feel sorry for people who bought the original DeLorean for like $2,500, like probably last week before this was announced, because it's horrible, man. This is a very pricey item. I think 789. I think Josh has it for 700. I think, or 680, something like that. I think the price is a bit pricey, but again, compared to what's going on in the secondary market, it is definitely a must-have for a Back to the Future collector, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they came out with this, and thank you so much there, Dante, is just amazing. And the more I'm looking at it, it's crazy. Great thoughts there. Will, your overall thoughts on this pretty outstanding release here?
Dude, it's incredible. Lael pretty much hit the nail on the head, I think, for both of us, because we talked about this when it originally was announced. We were both like, hey, we don't really I'm not in love with Back to the Future. I like it a lot, but I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the other 2, but I've seen the first one. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great, but I didn't feel like I really needed the figures from it, But then when this popped up, I was like, bro, it's so good. It's so good. It's like it's such an amazing piece of art that I just feel like it's so hard to pass on, because it's one of those that I feel like our said, like it really should it feels like it should be almost like $900 or $1,000, right? And I don't know, because that's why I'm so tempted with it, because it's such a badass looking piece, but I just don't have much of an emotional connection to it. Maybe like Lael said, if I want to go in and I want to go like Ready Player One, for example, I could do that because I saw Ready Player One and really loved it. So, for example, that could be a way that I go about doing this. But for me, I don't know. That's why I'm so conflicted on it. That's why I don't want to make a decision right now. Because if I can wait on this, which I totally can, because it's not going to come out for a while, then I don't know. I'll make the decision then, because I don't want to lock myself into anything now. So I think anyone that's on the fence, I don't see any reason to pre-order this immediately. I think you can clearly wait and just wait until, it gets closer to release, because this is a lot of money to drop. But you guys are right. It should be probably more expensive than it is. The fact that the original was $690, because I just looked it up, $690. This has more features. This has USB light up. Like, that's a game changer. USB light up is a total innovative thing that they're working with. That's a game changer, because we've all put in Iron Man batteries. It's not fun. Like, and imagine doing that for a car. It's not fun, right?
Yeah, no.
So, and then if you can simply plug in a USB to the back of it and then to your wall, and bam, all the lights are on. Come on now, like that is a total game changer. So. The topic of, do I feel bad for people who bought the original? Not really, because I feel like that's in 13. So that was like a decade ago. So to me, Hot Toys, we always want them to be considerate of buyers, collectors, previous buyers, but like they also have to innovate. So I understand that. With Beskar Mando, it was a little bit different because they had barely released the previous one. And before that one even basically
it was
shipped.
out 2 minutes.
Right. They put out the new one, the better one. This has been a decade later. So, I mean, this is like, they've given you plenty of time to innovate and give a new one. And technically, it's not a reissue because Back to the Future 2. So technically, it's point. Not a reissue, really. It's a total new vehicle, new car.
All I can say, Will, if you end up watching part 2, you will go back to get this. There are just some moments that are fantastic, and I think you'll be like, oh, damn. Yeah, he's right. I'll go get it.
See, because KeCO, I kind of want it because I just feel like as an art piece, that's why I want it. Because this is beautiful. I think this is one of the best things Hot Toys has ever made. I mean, I legitimately look at this and think this is one of the best things they've ever made. Like, just the detail inside the car, the light up features on the outside of the car, the fact that you can put it in hover mode. Like, it's just a beautiful... And when anyone walks in your collection room, they're gonna know what that is. They're gonna look at that and be like, "Damn, that's a DeLorean."
This looks like something that you've actually opened up a catalog and you've seen it.
Right.
And like literally the way they've actually positioned this is like you're opening up an actual magazine, a car magazine, and you're looking like this is real. Like it looks great. I like that. I like even what they did with this photo here. It's incredible.
And I'll tell you a little something about the light up features, even in the old one. It's been 10 years. And I will say the light up feature, I would say this DeLorean, the original release, has some of the best electronics in it in any Hot Toy that I ever seen. Because the lights, I mean, consistent. I've left this thing on for like days and it didn't burn out anything. By mistake now. And the electronics are amazing. The light function, they're bright, they're not dim. It's done very well. And it's be real interesting to see what they're going to do with this new version and it being, USB connected. It's just endless possibilities.
Yeah, I just think it's beautiful. And I'm actually, I don't know if Lael's going to do the same. I'm going to go back and rewatch Back to the Future 1 because I'm kind of looking for a reason to buy this. I'm like,
I'm going to now too.
Yeah, because Lael, I like this car so much that like I want to go back and love Back to the Future more so I can buy this.
You will. Because if you go back and watch 2, bro, like there's so many. The thing is, if 2 cinematically back then was ahead of its time because of the things that they were able to pull off, bro. Like literally, like I mean, we watch, deep fake. We watch the way they actually can pull off just 2 characters in one space. But when you're seeing like bro, you if you go back and watch it, you'll probably enjoy it much more than you did 1. Like literally, because I did.
4 iterations of Michael J. Fox walking around at one time.
At one time, bro.
Really,
literally. And how they did it, it was that's what I'm saying. Like, if you think about this, Will, time travel, variance, anything that has to do with time. You can literally, like, this vehicle, this movie, really literally, it breaks the 4th wall. Like, you can actually have anybody who deals with time in one display. Like, literally. So just think about it. You can have, Deadpool. You can basically
Pennywise,
have,
bro.
You can have Loki inside.
You can have Loki. Bro, if you, especially considering the simple fact that you're going to actually get the TVA Loki.
Yep.
If you get that version, you can have that version.
He's paid off.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. There's so many. See, now I'm talking myself into this.
See,
shit.
I think we're going to get it, Lael. We're going to get it probably.
Yeah, I know. It probably.
I'm just going to say this. Anybody that can get this thing, if you're in the financial position to get it for this price. Because I'm going to tell you, once they make this one, and I know somebody in the chat was saying that they're most likely going to make one from. They're going to make the Back to the Future 3 one at this price. Get them. I say get them because, I mean, look at what this one. Look at what this one did. The original one is shot up to $2,500. I mean, we may not see this again once they do it. Once they do it, they're moving on to something else.
And that's the thing is like that one for $25,000 is going to actually stay. It's going to be stable because this is, like we said, it's a different iteration. So, people who were worried about, or even those who were worried about this being a reissue, you don't really have to worry about it because it is something totally different. So Yeah, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
again, but here's the thing: it's like if I get it, like I literally have to get Marty, and I have to get Doc.
Right.
Like that's the thing. That's
Yeah.
the road you travel. So I don't
And
know.
it's
Right.
going to be
Well,
pricey to get those.
Right.
Those are
But
very
you're gonna get you see those two over there, like Marty and Doc Brown. They're gonna reissue those.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's gonna happen. You know, that's gonna happen. So I think they're gonna explore more about this line, and I think that's good because this is a very good line to explore. You know, and I think probably you guys know about Use was trying to get the license to get the DeLorean, and then this happened.
That's right.
And I think that's because Hot Toys doesn't want to let this baby go, and that's what they did. That's why they probably put it.
Yeah, Yo's put up a video the other day. He was,
Right.
it said sad times. He's not going to release one because of this. So I mean,
Right.
again, they were watching.
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, but remember, they're gonna pretty much the Universal is gonna give more chances to the actual license holders, like
Right.
Hot Toys, for example, right? So
Mhm.
since they already did the version, and of course, Hot Toys they teased this when they released Marty McFly a few months ago. So they teased this, they teased a bunch of other figures with the Back to the Future line. So it is. You can see right there that they don't want to let go of this license, and of course they won't.
Are we expecting
Yeah.
any third-party figures of Marty and Doc or anyone else from this line? I mean, do you guys see that coming, or have there been any?
If I don't know.
It will be difficult, I think, just because Hot Toys has the license right now for this.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, the Marty, this is my first Marty McFly I got, and I compare it to some old pictures, and this is actually really good. Like it is an improvement, but they're being smart about these things now. They're not doing straight reissues, and this is something that we spoke about many times. I honestly prefer to have a 2.0 with something additional, like whether it's an accessory or a base or something that is different from the original, than just doing a straight reissue.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Hot Toys is doing more often, and that's good. That's good, especially if you missed originally the first figures.
I can honestly say if they did if with this would be the one time that I would not get a third party version of these figures. I would actually wait until Hot Toys did it, because it's too good not to kind of pay homage, and because it's nostalgic, but you want to also make sure that for me I'm kind of sticking with Hot Toys on this one. I wouldn't get a third party reissue or anything when it comes to those figures. I wouldn't want it because, like I said, Hot Toys especially with the head sculpts, they're just too good, and I don't. Yeah, no, I wouldn't trust that.
Unless Soso Toys comes with that, because they do a pretty good head sculpt, right? But I don't see it happening. They will not risk it, I think.
Well, reading this from It's Popsic, Grogu is empty again. Are you kidding me? On table 5, the little guy so ready tonight. All right, here we go. Another refill. And listen, before we get to our last panel member on this particular subject, who dares sit at table 66, and who's sitting here with this guy right now?
And he get good.
Man, that I don't know. I could just that scene from Revenge of the Sith. Every time I put that up, I think I want to go ahead and turn that on tonight. Usual Mike.
Will has some interesting news.
Yes.
We'll probably talk about later.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just don't know.
Yeah, you do. What you put in the chat earlier this morning with what you and McGregor talked about.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Oh, you're gonna when we get into the. You're
I was
gonna have
confused.
to-
I was like, what did I do?
Tell us now. Do you want to spill the beans now, Will? No pun intended.
Yeah. So there was I saw an article today that Ewan McGregor was talking to. I believe it was Variety. And he was talking about how he said it's no secret that Hayden Christensen is in the show, and they shot some scenes of him and Anakin together. So I would assume either maybe like a Clone Wars thing, or maybe it's like a maybe back Revenge of the Sith or earlier type thing, some flashbacks. So I would say hold on to your boots for some reissues, because as soon as Anakin pops back up in old form, he's getting reissued. Even
Now,
a dark side one, maybe.
Do you think that's why they held off on that Obi-Wan release?
That's what I bet. They held off on the Obi-Wan Clone
Makes
Wars because
sense.
he's going to show up in that Clone Wars outfit in the
Yeah.
show,
Okay.
and then they'll
Makes
just do
sense.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to jump into that. That's good point there. Thank you for bringing that up, Will,
Yeah.
on that Clone Wars Obi-Wan. Usual Mike, well, you heard all the comments on this, and you heard what, what do you think about this release from Hot Toys? And then I have the second question for you,
DeLorean?
but that one first. Yes.
I think the car is just a bigger character as Marty and Doc, so this is important to release. It's something that everyone knows. It's iconic. You don't have to say anything to anyone. Oh, that's the car from Back to the Future. They know it straight away. It's something that's very important to Back to the Future. I'm a big fan of it. So in my country, it's not going to be $825. It's going to be $1,600.
Yeah. Well, staying with you, I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Like we were talking about as we were talking about this. Does this give us hope, especially with this selling for $825? And you have a lot of people on the panel over here that make great arguments that we can probably pay even more than $825 for this and justify it. And also, I noticed best-selling wise, this didn't come on like the Blurg or something like that where it just was not going high. This is riding very, very high, Mike, right now, best-selling wise on Sideshow. So you have to wonder, with how hot Star Wars is, and Lael brought this up before, and I'm going to bring this up as a for instance, this Jedi Starfighter that we've been waiting for some time for, Brother Cousins said, mentioned, we've been waiting 5 years since they showed this, remake of the DeLorean. Can you see this now with how hot Star Wars is, and people willing to pay these prices, something like a Jedi Starfighter? Can you see this for Star Wars? Hot Toys starting to go this route now that we've laid down the foundation for this price range.
By the way, Aries, I don't mean to jump in, but Anthony's in the back room waiting.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt.
Is it Anthony or the Wizard?
Another guess.
Oh, there he is, the man.
Yeah, I've been in there for a minute, but that's all good, man.
Sorry, I got into my thing to set the table.
Totally okay, man. Please
Welcome
continue.
in here.
Sorry to interrupt.
Here.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave Anthony falling for more than 30 minutes.
But go ahead there, Mike, and then we'll go to Anthony.
If this vehicle is iconic enough and everyone recognizes it, it'll sell really well. I know the DeLorean has got a bit more casual fan base that know it, where someone who knows Star Wars will look at this and go, which ship is this? Like, it's not, we know it's a Starfighter, but to a casual fan, they're not going to jump on it straight away like they would a DeLorean in a way. It's one of those things. Maybe a land speeder, perhaps. Maybe a land speeder would be. Oh, X-Wing, yeah. Yes, definitely an X-Wing. That's going to work. It's more iconic because people know it better.
How about, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how about them? Do you think it's a possibility that they will go back to that well and maybe making, because they showed it to us, they never gave it to us. Yost gave it to us. But do you think they'll make the Millennium Falcon cockpit now?
Oh, baby, come on.
Oh, that would be lovely. Oh, that would be lovely. But it's got to fit 4 figures in it. Four Hot Toys it's a lot of space. That's a lot of space to put a cockpit.
The question is, how are we going to afford what? And it's funny that you bring that up, Brother Cousins, because what's going to cost more, the Millennium Falcon cockpit or the figures to go inside of it? And because there is some news on the Han and Chewbacca that we're going to talk about, but that's a really good question there. Anthony, let's go to you. We've been talking about the DeLorean. You jumped in here. We're kind of getting into the part of it now where, it seems like for the $825 price range, and for a lot of us in here, we would pay more for how intricate that is. Does that open the door for something like the Jedi Starfighter, which I really hope that they do? They've teased it. But to Mike's point, this is obviously to a more common Star Wars fan, very recognizable. It's an X-Wing. Could you see something like this now for Star Wars, how popular Star Wars is?
I don't know, man. I would love it, but I think Howard Chan was like, nah, we ain't making that Jedi Starfighter, if I recall, but I don't remember. Like, it's just sitting there. Like, I would like that, but I agree that an X-Wing is more identifiable, for sure. I just don't know if I would love it. I think we would all love it, right? Even if we don't pick it up, just the fact that they would make it would give people the opportunity to pick these things up, like how they're doing the DeLorean. Which, by the way, yes, I'm getting 2 of them for sure. One is staying, and one is staying somewhere because it's going to be. You saw what happened to the first one, so I'm super excited for that. But yeah, that's a perfect point right there. Is if give us more vehicles, people will buy them.
KeCO, let's go to you. So when it comes to Star Wars getting so popular right now. We talked about it back on the Aries Tarrington show, you and I back on Wednesday. And now we're seeing, wow, how people are excited about the DeLorean, which is iconic. You got TIE fighters, you got X-Wings, you have a Jedi Starfighter that was teased by Hot Toys. You've got the new ship that Mando is using, which would seem that would be really good for a 6 scale. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
So going back to the cockpit, I suppose, and if they're going to look at the 6 scale vehicles, I think the environmentals cockpits are much more likely, simply because if you remember not too long ago, they did that Navarro playset or whatever you want to call that, as showing, hey, here's our first environment that we're building, from the Mandalorian. It's got the door, got the wall, got all that type of stuff. So there's definitely a market that they're testing, seeing if people want to pony up a little bit more, because I feel in the 6 scale world, there's like 2 tiers of collecting. There's the figures. Then there's kind of like the die-cast I guess 3. Then there's the Iron Man die-cast, deluxe pieces. And then there's like the people that want to either buy quarter scale, want to buy like the big vehicles and such. And so I feel like they're just it's the natural growth progression of a company, is that you continue to offer pieces that people want to buy. So if your market is saturated with 6 scale figures and you've, continue to get people in for that, you have to continue to raise the bar. And the natural progression would be diorama pieces, bigger vehicles, more deluxe figures, and things like that. So I think it makes sense, and I think the DeLorean is going to be the piece that breaks the dam and just really floods the market, and people saying, hey, they paid $1,000 for this car. Let's see what else they're going to be willing to pay. They won't stop doing something until people stop paying for it. And so if people keep paying for things, they're going to keep doing that. And I've told you guys before, like back on the market show, when we were talking about, the Casca, is that we vote with our wallets. And they're a business, if they care and they see that you are putting money into something, they will do everything they can to make more money. And that's the bottom line. Because
Good
Stone
point
Cold said
there.
so.
Yeah, no, Aro, to KeCO's points right there, is this going to break the dam for Star Wars?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think that if they can produce vehicles or ships that have the same level of quality that we're seeing in this DeLorean, yes. But I don't even know if the ships would even require that level of detail that the DeLorean requires. So it's hard to answer that. And they could probably charge us twice as much because it's a Star Wars vehicle and we'd buy it. We're going to buy it because all of us here are huge Star Wars fans. So, I would purchase it. I mean, it's worth it to me, but I am concerned about the quality and what, whether we could get that level of perfection that we're seeing in that DeLorean. I mean, it's a promise that I think that they could make to us, but, I kind of I don't know whether Hot Toys would do it. I just question whether we get that level of intricacy in the vehicles and the ships that we want to see, that we need to see. We need to see that now because we've seen sort of like the lower quality versions of it. And we're at a level now where we want to see the best quality that we can get now. And
I feel like it's a totally different development team as well. The people that do the head sculpts, the tailoring, the bodies. If you're going to do 6 scale dioramas, cockpits, vehicles, things like that, that's a completely different development team. Because if you're an artist that does portraits, you're not the same person that does, tailoring and stuff. So you'd have to bring in a different team for that. So that's a great point you bring up about whether or not they're willing to invest in that. Great point.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And Lael, to Aram's point there, for them to make Star Wars, would we perhaps see maybe a decrease in intricacy like we're seeing with this DeLorean for them to feel comfortable at a price point? Do you see them making 1 or 2 of these or giving it a shot? They certainly have done that with the Beasts now, with the, they've done it with some speeder bikes. They're doing it with the Blurg. What is your take on this?
I mean, I would hope. One can only hope at this particular point. I think the thing is, it's crazy because it's such a divisive IP, and because of that, a lot of people, we've seen that, there was so much promise in the sequel trilogy and like the pieces that we actually got from it. There was a lot of promise, but then people went and saw the films, and then a lot of these figures actually occupied some shelf life for some time, mainly the Force Awakens, First Order Troopers, Snow Troopers. They occupied time for a long time. They occupy space for a long time. That is. With this though, I mean, here's the thing: is it's like their track record. It's the cry wolf syndrome. They put it out and then it's retracted, and we never see it again. Baze Malbus being one of the figures that we haven't seen, we'll never see. It was there, it's sat. So it's the thing is, it's like when we talk about Back to the Future, it makes sense because it is a popular IP that released the figures. So it was only a matter of time until we got that DeLorean. With Star Wars, it's just like we already know that there's not a lot of love over there in China for it, in Hong Kong for it. So it's we can only hope that they would do something like that. But here's the thing. What's riding on that and the success or even the possibility of them releasing something like that is however popular Obi-Wan is going to be. Because if Obi-Wan is popular, if they show it in the Obi-Wan series, and if there are flashbacks with him and Anakin and we see them in the Starfighters, then it would be more of a push to get it, because then people are going to harken back to, oh man, Hot Toys was going to release this, this, that, and the third, and it'll probably be a bit more chatter. Hot Toys to take notice, and they'll say, okay, well, maybe. So a lot is riding on the success of, Obi-Wan series and whether or not we'll see something like that in a flashback. But again, it just depends because there's just so much that's going on with the community right now. It's just kind of hard to tell. I want it. I would get it day one. I'd pay it off day one, no matter how much. If it costs $1,400, I'd pay $1,400 for it, because that's how bad I want it. But yeah, I mean, it just mainly, and I hope, to answer your question, the intricacies, I hope they're going to still give us, the R2 droid cockpit. I'm hoping that, you can't have that not have an astromech droid in it. Come on, man, it's not going to work. But I hope they just give us the features that we need with it, and even the accessories. Give us. Basically give us like the droids. What were they called? The I keep forgetting the name of those droids. Buzz droids. Give me the actual.
Me too.
Give me like the accessories with the buzz droids. Have them on top of the Starfighter fighting R2. I'd love to see something like that. But yeah, I mean, it just depends. It right now is it's up in the air. We have to see, what they're thinking, if they're even going to even tap into the IP, because I don't know if it's, we're not getting a lot of, we got some prequel love, but not a lot of prequel love. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And Dante, let's go to you on this. Very interesting. Right now, this DeLorean is a huge hit. It looks perfect, basically, for all intents and purposes. Could they do that with an X-Wing here? How about that Jedi Starfighter that Lael was just, speaking of as well? What about something different, like we were talking about a cockpit, for the Millennium Falcon, something to that nature? And my thing is, coming back, Star Wars is hot. Are they going to stay more on the figures? They got to try this. What do you think?
So look at the pattern here. We got the Butt Pot. We got the Tumbler, the reissue it. Now we got the DeLorean. So I do think that they're exploring more of these vehicles, and I do see happening in the near future. I think the way they are, the Hot Toys is doing these things, it's kind of smart. They see what's going on in the community. They see that we have companies like Just Inc. who does dioramas and vehicles, and people love that. Of course, they want to make money. They have the license. They have pretty much everything on their hands to do it. And they're been expanding, and doing different things. So I think it will be, if you ask me if they do a Millennium Falcon cockpit, I will definitely 100% buy it if it's made from Hot Toys, because not only the quality is going to be there, the amount of detail, the production, even the price, probably it's going to be, I will say, a bit more affordable probably than buying a custom made one. So, I do think that they're gonna start doing this type of vehicles and dioramas. It will be great for the community. It will be great for the collectors, especially people who wants to have pretty much the collection complete, right? With with figures, with vehicles, and all those things. So I do think it's gonna happen very soon.
On top of that, can I just chime in? Hot Toys would do that. They'd put out, like, say, the Falcon cockpit, and then they'd throw in bonus accessories that could go with your existing figures. And they would do it on purpose. And then people would be like, damn, I really need those New Hope figures now because I'm getting these extra accessories that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you got a 50th anniversary of A New Hope coming up, Anthony, and we could stay with you on that. So if you want to expand on that, and we've lost Usual Mike, but he should be right back in here, logging back in, and putting this up on the screen from Attack Peter. Thank you for the $2 drop. Is anyone expecting more Book of Boba Fett reveals? Look, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. What do I say? You'll have to hold on, but thank you so much for that $2 drop. But yeah, go ahead, Anthony. I mean, that's a good point. They could give us like an accessory pack with it. One of my main concerns coming out with the Millennium Falcon is, what are you going to put in it right now? Because a lot of people are going to want to put Han Solo in there.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. I got all the figures. I know that's hard though, right? Not everybody does. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. Or even like what Lael was saying, like if they gave us an X-wing and then we had the port for R2. Obviously, it doesn't come with an R2, but the fact that they if they were to do that, it's not really an accessory, but you know what I'm saying. If they give you the option to fit an R2 in there, and they intentionally display that to you when they announce it, it's the same thing. People are gonna be like, "Oh man, I need an R2 now because it's gonna fit." Like they'll do stuff like that. Is what I'm thinking. They did kind of show off that diorama base too, didn't they? They were working on the Mandalorian diorama base, Hot Toys.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know whatever happened to that. So that's also the kind of the same thing. Are they gonna try to get in there? We're seeing more quarter scales because they're seeing how popular statues are. Like Dante's saying, I mean, Hot Toys is paying attention to everybody. That's why Howard Chan is so successful, because he's always thinking ahead. He's always strategizing. He's always eyeballing the competition. You know what I'm saying? So that's never gone. That's ever present in the company. Same thing with Jazz Inc. He's looking. So who knows? And look, we just got this DeLorean, which looks phenomenal. So with the new Batman and Flash thing coming out too, we're probably going to get another 89 Batmobile. I mean, I don't see it, right? Where they just put the Tumbler out too a few months back. So they're right. Exactly. Right, dude. Hell yeah. So they're doing things. They're just not doing them as quickly as like maybe we would want them to do. That's why it's such a shock when all of a sudden, boom, here's a DeLorean. We're like, what? But for them, I'm sure they knew months in advance. You know what I mean? So that's us being on the outside versus being on the inside. So I'm all for it, man. Give me anything. You can explore options. You don't have to just give us figures. Like that Starfighter right there. That's great. I don't think it would probably sit on shelves for a while, but at the same time, I don't think it would have the same number run as a 6-scale figure. They would obviously make less of these, so it would still go. You know what I mean? It's just not as quickly, I should say, as a figure. But I think almost everybody on this panel would probably buy that right there that we're looking at.
Oh, for sure. And good points there. Will, your thoughts on all this?
Dude, I have to pretty much echo the sentiments of the panel. I do love seeing Hot Toys make vehicles, though, because if anything, we get to see them flex their skills and really put them to the test and show what they can truly do. Yes, their head sculpts are always amazing for the most part. Most of them are 9s or 10s out of 10. Some are not. Some are 6s or 7s or less. But most part, we already know their portraits are really what we go to Hot Toys for. So I like them kind of stepping outside of that usual comfort zone and going with something like a Starfighter or going with something like a Tumbler or a DeLorean, something like that. Or even, honestly, I know it would be pretty massive, but a 1/6 scale Millennium Falcon would be pretty cool, right? That would be very massive. It would probably cost a hell of a lot more than a DeLorean. But at the same time, you'd probably get those diehards that would probably show out for that one, because that would be
it's huge.
Right. It would be massive. It would be massive. It would take up like half your room probably.
Did you see that 6-scale Slave 1 that they did? Like that guy, it was like literally the size of a car. Did
Really?
you see that?
Nice.
Yeah, well, and it was incredible because there's like a 1-to-1 6-scale Boba Fett, and they even put the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett on the ramp. And I was like,
Nice.
it's true. I mean, that's how big it is. And I think we lose sight of just how big some of these these pieces are compared to the figures. But it was
compared
wild.
to like the
you might need
tumbler
to-
or something.
Yeah, you might need to check that out. It's wild.
Right, yeah, I'll look at that for sure. But like for example, for sure, like the Naboo starfighter that Mandalorian just started flying around, right? Like that'd be pretty cool. Even if, say for example, KeCO makes a really good point here. Say for example, we don't do 1/6, we do 1/12, like we did with the bat, right? That's still pretty cool. That at least gives you something, right? That at least gives you something. Yeah, it's not quite in scale with the rest of your figures, but I don't think it would be a major issue, right? I think most of the times it would still work out fine. So for me, I do like seeing them do more vehicles. I would, like Anthony said, I don't think these are high run items. You know, they're higher in price. 6-scale collectors aren't used to paying $800 to $1,000 for a figure. So it's always going to be a little bit of sticker shock no matter how good it is, because, you know, it's a lot more than a lot of us are used to spending on figures. So, you know, it's just part of, you know, what you're conditioned to buy or not buy. But yeah, I do think that this looks great. Would I get it? I don't know. I mean, I probably wouldn't. I would probably get Mando ship if they made a Razor Crest, for example, in 1/12 or 1/6, whatever it needed to be, right? I would go with that probably. Yeah, or a cockpit, Millennium Falcon cockpit. That'd be pretty cool. Something like that to kind of build your display out. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that gets collectors to expand their space for sure. So.
Yeah, and brother Cousins, let's go to you in here with this. I mean, a lot of things to consider in here that were already brought up. You know, would it have the same level of detail as the DeLorean? You know, what would be the price point? Would some collectors have enough room to be able to you know, put this in? I mean, I guess you can get 3 figures for maybe what the price is going to be, maybe even more. But at the end of the day, it'd be really hard for me to really pass on an X-Wing. Anything like that done by Hot Toys, if it's done like that DeLorean, are you kidding me? So what do you think about this? You think they're going to finally come out with one and give it a shot and see what happens?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, to be quite honest. When you're talking about like the level of detail, I mean, even with the DeLorean, not sure if it's going to be this way with the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean they just announced, but with the older version, like, if I feel weird, you know, when I bought it, it was like $1,000 when I bought it. And I got a good deal on it in 2018 when I bought it for that price. But I did feel kind of weird putting stickers on it, because you had to put stickers on the dash on some of the stuff, and I was just like, oh man, I'm putting stickers on this. So I mean, it looks good, but you know, there's still things like that, and the level of detail don't have to, you know, I mean, it varies. So could they do it? Yes, they can do it. But when it comes to like Star Wars vehicles, and we're talking about like this Millennium Falcon cockpit right here, I mean, or this Millennium Falcon.
That's the whole
right
look.
here.
Those
That's
are
the
6-scale.
Dude,
Hot
that would
Toys.
be incredible.
So
this was impressive, but to be honest, it's completely not practical.
That's a hell of a flex, though. Hell of a flex.
It is the biggest flex ever.
You want to figure Flex Friday, Lael, right there.
Yeah, this is
there
it.
you go.
Where am I going to put it?
You won't be able to fit it in the frame.
I'm going to put it on the roof.
You would need a car garage to get that fit in, and that's the thing. Even with an X-wing, though, an X-wing 1/6 scale is pretty big.
The
It's
wingspan
like,
on that is huge. That's
You
what
wanna
I'm
see my
saying.
damn
Like, just the,
spaceship?
yeah, like the
that's like some
wingspan
people's
is.
whole room.
You can fly
And that's
in it.
the people like. I mean, keep it in mind that Yost and Jazz Inc. right now are doing the snow speeder for Luke. That thing's going to be huge. Like, don't. It's going to be
3 feet
big.
by 3 feet.
Yeah,
Look at
like
the
that's
bat.
what I'm saying.
Look
Like,
at the Batwing. The Batwing.
Yeah.
And I actually thought
Yeah.
about getting it, and then I was like, realistically, how are you going to display this? It would have to be like
Yeah.
on the wall, like, or something like that, just hanging. And then
These are 6-scale TIE fighters.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
those
even
look
look at
great.
that in comparison.
The TIE fighters would be more practical. Like those,
The
I
TIE
think would
fighter's
be.
They're as tall as a
huge.
person.
It's
They're
still
as tall as
huge.
a human.
Falcon.
Hey, not tall as me.
yeah, the TIE fighters.
Absolutely
I'm about
huge.
5'8", so yeah, those TIE fighters look like they're about 5'8", at least 5 feet.
yeah.
Right. Maybe
Yeah.
just because I'm used to like I have like half scale statues and
I
things
mean,
like
this
that.
dude's bending down right here. He's barely.
Right.
So just saying.
That'd be worth it, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
a
I just
flex
wanted
right
to
there. Hang
bring
it
that
from
up
your
so you
ceiling.
guys-
It would tear the ceiling down.
Right.
Yeah.
Find a stud. Find a stud.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't know if they would. That's the thing. I mean, that would have to be for your intense, like flashy millionaire or billionaire. It would have to be like a commission job that Hot Toys would do. It wouldn't be something that they can mass produce or even if you're looking at with Yoast stuff, it's like, it's like made to order. So, and even I think even Yoast kind of alluded to that. He said even when he was like putting out the cockpit, he was saying it's the reason why the big guys dropped the cockpit. Is just, and I think he actually took a couple of losses on that cockpit, to be honest with you, producing it, because it's so heavy, the shipping, all of that, the materials used. It took a lot to get that out. So Hot Toys doing it, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. But I mean, that was then. This is now. Collectors now are really ramping up on the statue game is ridiculous now, and Hot Toys are reacting. They're looking at that, and so who knows? Who knows?
Well, with 120 in here, did you hit the like button yet, baby? Come on, go ahead and press that like button, and look at all these fine people that are in here. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to everyone in here who has a channel, which is everybody, baby. And is it possible that I put everybody's link within the video description right here so you can subscribe to them? And I say yes. All right, so listen, Arom, I'm going to go to you with the next part of this, which ties in, which I wasn't planning for this discussion, but it does go. And I'm going to go ahead and flash this onto the screen here. And as you know, this is SixthScaleCantina.com. And I just want to bring some stuff up. I'm going to dive into this big time on Live and Raw coming in on Monday. But I've been tracking a lot of this stuff for a while. And as you can see here with the biggest movers updated, and there's still more updates that need to be done. Aram, you can see that the Han and Chewbacca A New Hope 2-pack is the #1 biggest mover this particular week. And I can bring something up because I was bringing this up time and time again, and how these were selling over $1,000 and you were getting a good deal if you would find it at the $900 range. And as Chewbacca and Han himself are just getting astronomical, Han going well over the $600 tier range, you can look right here, just back from February 17th. Okay, this is a U.S. seller, $1,125, 30 bids, outstanding seller. And here's the news: for the first time ever on the market value chart, anyway, we have our first Hot Toys release that has breached the $1,000 tier range, which happens to be this particular figure. And when you go to the current value column and hit that arrow a couple times, you'll see right here, now that 2-pack is sitting $1,044. So I guess my question to you, Aram, about this is, I'm not big on reissues. I have different problems depending on how they do it. But I guess my big question with this getting to a very, very high price and Star Wars being very, very, very popular, do you see Hot Toys making some move with a Han Solo or a Chewbacca to try and get some of that? Because even the Force Awakens ones are really, that set is starting to creep to the $700 tier range. I expect it to break it very shortly. But go ahead, give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, this is a good question. As far as I'm concerned, that's a good price for both of them. I know it says $1,000. I know that's a lot of money, but if you bought it as a 2-pack together, what would it be? $500? Realistically today, if you bought a 2-pack, so it's maybe twice the price. But as far as I'm concerned, that's a decent price for what they're asking, and people are so desirous of this pairing together that they were kind of like starting rumors during the Book of Boba Fett that Han would sort of show up in the last episode, and they just wanted it so bad. And I understand that there's a lot of passion between collecting Han and Chewie. I mean, it's undeniable, and that is a Grail piece for a lot of people. If someone gave me that, I think I would just jump up and down for joy. I don't know whether they would want to reissue a 1/6 scale. And this is a 1/6 scale, right, Aries?
Yes.
If I were Hot Toys, I would just go ahead and issue a more 1/4 scales, more pricier versions of Han and Chewie. This is what I would do.
Oh, I love it.
Because I feel that people could get better, like a better value with it. Maybe not a statue, but maybe somewhat that's something that's posable at a 1/4 scale. Han and Chewie. And maybe it would be the same price as what we're seeing here, maybe $800 for each piece. But, you could justify getting something like that rather than purchasing the 1/6 2-pack because you would get much more detail. It would be impeccable. They do a beautiful job. We already saw what they did with the Boba Fett 1/4 scale. So we would expect that same level of perfection. So I kind of see them doing that more than doing more 1/6 scales. Perhaps it would be more worth it to them to do 1/6 scales. But for me, I feel like I would go in the direction of thinking that they're going to do more 1/4 scales versus 1/6. So now the other thing that I wanted to say is that it's very interesting that there are so many fans and collectors who were so passionate about wanting Han Solo to show up in that last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And, I personally did not believe that was going to happen. But if it did happen, of course, my jaw would have hit the ground. This would have been something that would have been incredibly pleasurable to me. And, I think I probably just would have, been screaming at the TV if that had happened. And it didn't happen, and it's okay. But I'm still actually holding on to it because they put the seed in there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still enjoying the idea of it, which is very funny because this is why we collect, because we get pleasure seeing these figures. But now I'm sort of like fantasizing about this. And, that's what's driving, one of the factors that's driving the value up. But for $1,000, if you have the money or you can bid on it, just go ahead and buy that. Because, honestly, I think it is worth it, even though it is a much higher price than it was originally, personally speaking. So I think they would go more towards a 1/4 issue personally. And that's how I would see it.
No, and that is a really, really good point in here. And with 120 watching, please go ahead and smash that like button here, the Market Show Live. Will, I want to go to you. Aram brings up a really good point because we were just talking last week about, and Lael and I were joking about this 1/4 scale Boba Fett. I just, there's no way I can't get it now with that head sculpt. I'll be honest. Until Aram said it, I never even thought of getting Harrison Ford in a 1/4 scale, but there's no doubt I get that. That opens up some doors. Wow, I guess at this price point, that is interesting. I'd love your take on that. And then I also want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Because we throw and I do, and I guess a lot of us do, we throw the word Grail around a lot. But is it possible that this is really a Grail at this point from what you're looking at here? Go ahead and go.
Yeah, Aries, I would have to say, based on this price, it absolutely is a Grail. Because, I mean, at this point, you're probably double value. And that's, I think, the benchmark to me of becoming a Grail. Like, pretty much, like we've heard kind of the definition of a chase figure. That's something maybe like, might go like, like 30, 25, 30% up tops over above retail, right? That's still pretty high. That's still a very successful, a good figure. But a Grail is really something that goes like 2 times value like this. And this is kind of what this has done. And I think you guys make a really good point. My best estimation as to why it's surging at the moment is because maybe people were getting their hopes a little high, thinking that Han and Chewie would show up in the Book of Boba. And when they didn't, now they're like, oh shit, now I got to buy this one, because I was hoping they would like remake those figures, right? Maybe those 2 would show up. We'd get sort of a deep fake version, if you will, of Han, and they'd remake it, right? And they'd be like, okay, now we got another version of Han and Chewie, another 2-pack. Now that we didn't get that, people were like, oh, well, I really want those. And I was hoping we'd get them in Book of Boba, and we didn't. So now I have to pay this. For me, I think this is the joys of Hot Toys collecting, because everyone has a different approach on this. I would not pay anywhere near that price for 2 figures. I don't think that's really worth it for any 2 Hot Toys figures personally. Like that's, unless it's like maybe Carnage or something massive in scale, right? Like these 2, yes, they're Grails, but at the same time, I always like to say exercise patience. Yes, we haven't got our Bespin Han, we haven't got a New Hope Han remade, but still, that's a lot. That's, you could get nowadays like 3 to 4 Hot Toys for that price. So I don't know. That's a lot. You could get double the amount of figures. Yeah, it's Han and Chewie, but I don't know. Unless you just are dying for them, to me, I just don't think it's smart to pay double retail like that for a figure. You know, I've done it one time ever. It was Terminator, because I knew, I was like, they're not touching that Terminator line for a long time, if at all, ever
They're
again.
gonna touch Star Wars,
Right?
They're
Star Wars, like
touching
Han, Harrison Ford, though. I'm wondering if there's something going on where maybe he just doesn't want to sign off on that anymore. Like, that's my only explanation. But they didn't make a Chewbacca from the Solo film either, so that was another opportunity that they had to make one. Maybe because the Force Awakens one bombed so hard that they were just like, we're not making another Chewbacca. I don't know. But to me, to each their own. Like, if you really need Han and Chewie, I guess go for it. But to me, I just don't. I don't. That's a lot of money for two figures like that. It's just a lot. To me, that's you're buying at the highest point. That's never really smart. You know, like, you're buying at the highest point instead of waiting for like a reissue that'll knock down the value or something, a remake. There's going to be something at some point. So if you're patient enough, I think you can wait it out.
Well, with how hot Star Wars is, I think that's a great point. Dante, let's go to you. I mean, this is kind of hitting an astronomical price right now, and been following it for quite a while, and that's a pretty hefty price tag on that for that set. But, you know, another good point that RM brings up is, I guess, when you divide 1,000 in half, it's 500 a figure.
Right.
Still, I feel that with Star Wars, it's so hot right now. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Getting another version, even if it's not a reissue, getting another version of Han, it's coming. Getting another version of Chewie, it's coming. But what do you think about this?
Well, the price is a bit high, right? But I mean, it is a Grail. I mean, I agree with Will. It is now double the price. So just because we didn't get any type of hint that a new version of Han Solo is going to be out, so that makes the price going even higher. You know, do I think Hot Toys will ever do a Han and Chewie? I think they will. I'm not sure, you know, how soon, but I think they will. I think it's you know, they're looking at the market. They know what's going on. So, you know, this is money that is not in their pocket. So that right there, you know, they're gonna be like, you know what, we need to do something about this. I think now the price point is getting higher and higher. I think it's a matter of time that they're probably gonna do something. You know, if I'm the company who makes those figures, I have the licenses and everything, you know, and you know, all the people selling those figures for like $1,000, and I'm not making that money, I will probably be concerned about it, right? And try to do something to get that money in my pocket. So I do think that it's gonna happen at one point. Again, only Hot Toys knows when. But yeah, that set is fantastic. I'm telling you, I was able to get mine from Fabio. Actually, he sold me one, the 2-pack, like brand new sealed. So I got it a few months ago. So I got it at a really, really good price. So I just hope that Hot Toys do something about this.
Lael, it's real interesting. We were talking about possibly that Millennium Falcon cockpit, and of course we could put, you know, Rey in there. We can put Lando in there. It'd be awesome. We could put a Chewie, whatever version of Chewie in there. A lot of people are going to want to put Han Solo in there. You know, it's kind of funny how it goes in, because they come out with something like that. You kind of need one of the Hans anyway. Your thoughts on that? I don't feel like they're going to reissue that set, and I don't feel like that they're going to reissue that Han Solo. But I do think that there is a chance that with that head sculpt, I still think it holds up today. It's not like what's coming out right now, like with that Fennec and that Casca, to be honest, but it could still hold up. I just feel like something's going to come when it comes to Han Solo.
Well, I mean, a couple different things. 50th anniversary is right around the corner. We have also Celebration that's coming in May. So there's a high possibility that they might do a revamp or rehash on these particular figures. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity, you know, for Hot Toys to kind of make some revenue, take advantage of the simple fact that, again, 50th anniversary. Again, we're looking at Celebration around the corners. We're going to get some amazing news. That's also the same month that we're going to actually have Obi-Wan. I don't justify basically paying over $1,000 for these two figures. I mean, especially here's my thing. When these figures dropped, The first time they dropped, I got them because I was like, come on, man, they're bound to be Grail pieces. I mean, this is the original. These are the OG characters. So you always think about it, it's like, well, why didn't people get them then? Like, why didn't you get them when you had the opportunity to get it, and you wait till now to pay as much money as you're going to pay for these figures? I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? Because it really doesn't make sense to me. But to say that it's out of the realm of possibility, I don't think it is, because like I said, there's an advantage that you have to give us, new versions of these actual figures, upgrade the head sculpt. You could, do something like that. Again, we seen what literally when when Harrison Ford was on what was it, Delay Show with
Jimmy Fallon,
with Jimmy Fallon, and he destroyed that 6 scale figure. I was like,
man.
It made me cringe because, and you can even look at Jimmy Fallon, he was upset because he's like, yo, hold up, you don't know. Jimmy Fallon could have been a collector, you never know that. But yeah, I mean, I still don't. To me, I just don't justify saying, that you would actually just stretch and pay this. Is it necessary to do so, knowing that there's so many other figures coming? Also, just knowing that there is a possibility that they could do a re-release, on this. I would wait it out. Like, I would really wait it out. I wouldn't jump the gun on getting it. Me, myself, I got them at retail when they were released. I got both Han, I got Chewie. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? The only one I have Han, I have Chewie, I have Leia. The only one I don't have right now is Luke, is the New Hope Luke, and which I slept on. But again, I'll end up getting it sometime. Down the line. But yeah, I just here it's again, it's not out of the realm of possibility because we have these two things dropping are coming up soon. And they're going to want to celebrate the 50th anniversary. That's going to be huge because New Hope was the movie that started it all. So, you have to look at it and say, yeah, there could be a possibility that they would actually do something like that. So I guess right now it's a waiting game, but I know if they did something like that, they'd piss a whole bunch of people off. But I mean, not me, because I have zero problem with reissues because, you know what I mean? There's figures that I wanted that I haven't got a hands on. If they do a reissue of that New Hope Luke, definitely I would actually get that. So I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, I don't, it is what it is at this point. But I just don't, I don't think that you want to jump the gun and pay that much money for this 2-pack. You know what I mean? I don't think I know I wouldn't. You know what I mean? I just don't see the reason for doing so. But for others, they may see that it's quite a return for them, or it's something that they want to do, or I don't know. It's just unjustifiable for me. Like I can't justify you doing something like that. Just wait it out and just see what Hot Toys is going to do. Because look, we got to always remember that they're in this to make money. They are in this to make money, and if there's an opportunity to make money, they will do it. So,
certainly an opportunity here. Because of this, you're 100% right, Lael. And Jay, going to you, brother Cousins. He brings up an interesting point. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Like, people ask me all the time, "Hey, do you got Tarkin? Hey, you got this one? Hey, you got that one?" I was like, "No, Dark Jedi. Why don't you have it?" Because exactly, I'm not going to pay these prices for it. But I have a certain parameter that you got to go with, and I think that Hot Toys knows that. With collectors, and they're seeing these type of prices with a set like this. And I actually believe that they reissued this set once before. You're seeing the Force Awakens one go up. And I am with RM on this. I really do believe that you already had Luke come back in this timeline. You're certainly gonna, it's only a matter of time, whatever show, before Harrison, they de-age him, and maybe the rumors were true. It just wasn't for that show. Maybe it's for one of the upcoming shows. I still think
or season 2.
Or season 2.
Yeah.
So I would never pay this type of thing for this. And I know it seems like, wow, we've been waiting for Bespin Han, for instance. That was teased with the Bespin Leia. It's gonna come.
Huh. And so this is how I look at it. It really, okay, that price, yeah, it's it's almost unjustifiable. It really is. But it also depends on the collector. Only way I can see anybody justifying this is if they got a good deal on, let's say they were just starting their collection and they fell in love with Star Wars and they decided to get the Millennium Falcon the Jazz Inc. Falcon cockpit, and they got it. And then they were like, damn, I really want Han and Chewie. And then they found out that this was the only way they can get it, and they got it. Okay, that's a lot of, you put down a lot of money for it. They put down a lot of money. Yeah, that they could have probably bought like three Hot Toys for the price of this 2-pack. Here it is. We're talking Han and Chewie. These are iconic characters. They are Star Wars. So I can almost understand that. But you got to know your wallet. You got to know. I mean, what you got to understand, if you're going to do that, you're spending a lot of money, and you got to look at the possibilities of them doing a re-release. And if they do a re-release or a 2.0, do not get mad about it. You can't get mad about it. You setting your own self up, because what you're paying for is not the figures. You're paying for the access to buy the figures. That's what people get confused. You're paying to have those figures right now and not waiting for the re-release. I look at it like this. If these figures come out, they're not probably going to re-release this set. If they do, they'll probably do a 2.0 for the 40th anniversary, and it may be better than what we already got. That's a possibility. Or they give us what we want. They give us a Bespin Han and Chewie. I see that happening. But
which is not exactly a New Hope Han, but it gives you a Han in your collection. At a retail price.
Yeah, it gives you a Han in your collection, and some collectors will go with that, and maybe they can, find a vest or something like that, a third party vest, or find a vest on eBay and pull it together, a vest in the shirt and pull it together. Maybe they could and do that. It gives them options to do that. But like I said, I see them doing that. But when you look at stuff like certain box sets, like Tarkin and Vader, I always talk about that box set, and the reason why I bring that out, I don't see them going back anytime soon and making another Tarkin figure. That makes that very rare. And if you try to get Tarkin by himself, you're going to pay $700, $800 off the break. So it's almost of value to you to get the 2-pack and pay that $1,000 or $1,100 or whatever it is to get that 2-pack. So I can understand that one, opposed to buying a Han and Chewie for that price, because they may come on, at some point we all know here on this panel, they're going to re-release Han and Chewie at some point. We don't know when, but at some point. But that Tarkin Vader or that Tarkin, way far off. So that's how I just look at it.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good point. And before we move on to other coffee spilling stuff, got this from Andrew James. Thank you for the $5 bomb there, my friend. All my boys in one video. Come on. What's up, everyone? Always love showing my love and support to you all. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. Always good
yes.
having you in here, my friend. That's awesome. Digging the new avatar you got there. That's incredible. Anthony, going to you. Last word before we go into the next topic here, getting into Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Just really surprising. I had to bring this up about the Han, because we're talking about these dioramas and that Millennium Falcon. I am going to dive into it more on Monday, but real interesting here. Just go ahead and wrap it up for us, your thoughts.
Well, I think if people want it bad enough, they're going to buy it, right? That's just life. That's not even a Hot Toys game. That's just life, right? I also believe, as everybody said, they're probably going to come out with them again at some point. Now the problem is it's at some point. Okay, unknown. Could be on the anniversary, could not be. You never know. So it's a tough situation. Now the thing with that, though, as you stated, Aries, the Han sculpt still holds up very well. In my opinion, my Chewbacca is perfect. I don't think they could make him better. Maybe other accessories, or I don't know. To me, he's perfect. He looks timeless to me. Whereas a lot of head sculpts and Hot Toys don't, right? They show their age. I see Chewie as he's just timeless. He's just perfect to me. So I don't know what they would do, but the fact is, these New Hope line, these figures, they were sculpted and painted in a different era. you know, and they really were. And you can tell if you have these figures,
Yeah.
as some of us here do, that when I look at my New Hope figures, they all look very, very similar because they're a product of their time.
It's a good point.
So
you're right.
If they do bring a 2.0s of these, they are going to look different.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
and
a
that's
good point.
fine. You know what I mean? But there's there's an aesthetic, a pleasing aesthetic to these figures. When I look at them anyway, I'm like,
And people
this
are
was
going to
the era.
actually want these versions. They're going to want this version of Chewie and not that one that we actually got from, you know, the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it looks like he
they're gonna
had
want
3
the new-
lips.
It looks like a dog, sort of.
Yeah, bro.
By the way, just so
exactly.
everybody knows, KeCO and Usual Mike are having internet problems. I'm getting messages. They're trying to work it out. So we hope to get them back in here in a little bit. So just if you're all wondering where they went, they're trying to figure it out. Hopefully get them back in here in a little bit. Go ahead, continue, Anthony.
Oh, well, I mean, that's really how I'm feeling. Like at the end of the day, like I said, people are still going to buy them. That's why there's a secondary market. If people weren't buying stuff on secondary markets, there wouldn't be a market. You know what I'm saying? So as you pointed out here on your website and on eBay, look at the bids. You know, we're looking at, you know, $1,200 average price for a Han and Chewie. Is that worth it? Depends on the collector. You know, if I really want that figure, I'm going to get that figure. I mean, you'll find a way, like we always do. So,
but it takes me a long time to find a way, though. I think the patience is the key. Really, really the key.
It is.
I always tell people, like when I show the stuff on the market, it's an average. So when you have an average, it's like a batting average. You know, they're not always batting 1,000. So it's like, oh, this figure's $1,000. Well, if you use enough patience, you could find it $800-900. Then again, if you don't use patience, you'll find it for $1,300. I mean, I've seen that figure sell honestly for $1,400-1,500 on a continual basis. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't pick my Han and Chewie up at retail. I missed them. So, but patience, like you said. So I picked up. So mine's not the 2-pack, right? But that's okay with me. I got my Chewie complete in a box. You know, complete as you were to buy them at like a used figure, for like $360, last year. Okay, I got my Han Solo for $200 last year. Oh, wow. The only difference is he came in a shoebox, but he had he had everything. Okay, so he was basically loose, but he had everything down to the display stand, all the accessories. He's the complete figure without a box. So I picked him up for about $550 total. I'm cool with that. You see what I'm saying? So again, as you had said, Dante just mentioned briefly earlier, everybody knows patience. Don't rush out and buy it.
Patience, Anakin. Patience.
I'm telling you, deals will come. Deals will come. So, you know, stay in Facebook groups, you know, check OfferUp, check Mercari, try to stay away from eBay unless, you know, you find somebody who's not well known and you can get a quick sniper bid on something. You know what I mean?
You can find really good deals on eBay, though. I tell people,
you can.
You just have to look in the middle of the night. You have to get a whole. I mean, I've gotten some great deals off there.
But 1 o'clock is the best time. No, it is. I'm telling you, 1 o'clock.
But you're right, Anthony. Yes. Keep away from there for the listings and some of these. But you,
right.
I feel like in all of them, though, you got to kind of be really. You just got to kind of. Going back to that one word, patience. Just got to kind of.
And here's a perfect example. I don't remember what figure it was. I really don't. But it was on eBay, and the guy put it up as it was a buy. It was not an auction. It was a buy it now or best offer. And I noticed that it had been up for 10 days. He listed it for 10 days. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Marvel figure. It was a hot toy. And I happened to stumble upon it, and there was a day left, and it was going to die out in a day. So I waited till the following day, and I knew there was a couple hours left. I don't know if he had any offers, but there was nothing, and it was still there. And I offered him something like not really too ridiculous, but well below what he was asking, and he accepted. Yeah, I'm looking at it like he listed it. It's been sitting there. It's dead for like a week and a half. That's right. He's trying to sell it. You know, maybe he needs money. Finally, at the last minute, someone presents an offer, and some people will just do it. So again, it's about kind of playing the market and, you know, and having patience. You know, patience, man, is whatever the hell that cliche is. Good things happen to
Patience is
those
a
who
virtue.
wait, right?
Patience is the key.
So, or patience is a virtue. One of those. Take your
Well,
pick.
Either
That's-
way.
It works.
That's what Obi-Wan was trying to tell Anakin.
Right.
And listen, Anthony, that's good stuff. We're going to get into the next segment. I'm actually going to start this off with Rrr Mmmm. And this is the part of the show where...
This is where the fun begins.
Where the fun begins. So we're talking about all this stuff, and you have to wonder, and I want to bring this up onto the screen because we just finished a book of Boba Fett. And I don't know about all of you in here, but Rrr Mmmm, I'm going with you first. I am so freaking excited for this Obi-Wan series coming out on May 25th. Hayden Christensen. Will gave us some news, a little bit before, shared some of the news. They're obviously working together. I think there's going to be a great battle. Probably not even just, some stuff from, flashbacks, but a new one. I'm just so curious to find out. Because in A New Hope, he said, the last time we met, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. I am fascinated, Rrr Mmmm, with this show. What about you?
Yeah, it is fascinating. I'm a huge Hayden Christensen fan. And I know that in the prequels, people had said that he sounded a little whiny and in his take on Anakin and hence Darth Vader. But I don't care. I loved the way he did the role. And, I thought that he just was wonderful in it. He looked great, and he's the image of what I consider Anakin. And later on we got the Clone Wars, and so everything we associate with this character is Hayden Christensen. So I just love the idea that he's coming back. And I know people had concerns about him coming back. I think if they do it right and they give us the right story and it makes sense, it's going to be wonderful. And I'm totally excited. I have to say that I know when they had announced the trailer and we saw these amazing things in the trailer, that trailer is really kind of blew me away. There was a lot going on in it. And, I said, I'm going to have to watch this trailer a few times just to figure out all kind of like what I can try and figure out and get details about what I think is going to happen. But I think we're in for a treat. I feel really good about this. I'm excited. I will get up in the middle of the night to watch the episodes. And there's so much more to this dynamic character. I mean, obviously for me, it's the comics because I don't own the comics, but I've been reading them like on YouTube for, I don't know, maybe the past 4 years or so. So kind of like learning more about the different times that he's encountered different people. And then my curiosity got aroused when they had Jedi Fallen Order that came out. And Darth Vader kind of like makes an appearance there. And I said to myself, it would be great if we could get just these segments of, his life that we know has to be a struggle, right? It had to be such an incredible struggle for him with everything that he's had to deal with. And, this inner conflict for him, which we've seen over and over and over again, now we get to revisit that. And, I think it's great because I felt like the last time that we saw him in the sequels, that's in the prequels, we didn't get as much of that inner conflict that I would have liked to have seen when after he put on, let's say, his final outfit that Darth Vader looks. So, are we going to get more of a point of view of him that way? Or are we going what are they going to focus on in this story? And I imagine it would be before and after. It would have to be, because there are going to be things that came up before that were not addressed. And I guess maybe Obi has to deal with that. And then of course afterwards too. And the reason why I say that is because when I was watching season 7 of the Clone Wars, I remember when Ahsoka was talking to Obi, and there was this part where she's talking to him, and Obi-Wan had this worried look on his face. Like he was, like it was, you could tell he was visibly shaken. And that was the first time that I'd ever seen him like that, except for maybe when he was looking at Anakin killing the younglings. But this was really like, they made a point of showing his face that he was just absolutely distraught and messed up. And just, he really, you didn't have to even ask him what something was wrong. You knew something was wrong. So
could read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could really feel that, and I hope that we can get some more of the interaction and the feelings and things that were not expressed in the new series. So I'm incredibly excited about all of this. I love Dark Anakin. I just like, I
Yeah,
find it very
he
exciting.
killed it in Revenge of the Sith. He killed it. I thought his acting was superb.
Yes, and so I'm hoping that we see some more badassery, let's say, from him going forward. And that last scene that we saw in the movie where he's like, no, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see that version. I just want to see where he's, maybe just some other expressions of what's happened, because we knew it was sad. We knew what the outcome was going to be there. But now I'm hoping that we're going to see even more of the passion between maybe him and his own dealings with things, and how Obi-Wan is responding to that. And it's just going to be amazing. So that's how I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you with that. I am so stoked to find out how they're going to tie some things in, what they're going to do. Lael, I'm wondering, I know this is called the Obi-Wan series, but I'm getting a feeling that it's almost like about two people. We're gonna have a story of Anakin and Obi-Wan, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. Do you feel that too? I mean, I just feel like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It's the fact that Hayden Christensen's in it, and he won't be in it maybe as much as Ewan McGregor, but I don't know, man. I'm just excited to see what they do, what Deborah Chow does with this.
Yeah, I definitely have faith in Deborah Chow that she's going to make a work of art with this series. I have full faith that she's going to be able to pull it off. But also, I mean, if you look at Anakin's journey and Hayden Christensen, I mean, I don't care what anybody says, his version in, Revenge of the Sith, that turmoil, that what he went through, just he showed the right amount of emotional beats in that film when it came to his love for his wife, his love for Padme, and what he basically felt was a possible loss, torn with that, torn with the guilt that he had already basically in his heart knew that he was going to betray. And there was going to be a moment where he was going to actually betray the Jedi Order. He knew that, and he knew that was coming. I think he knew that basically even in Attack of the Clones, that was a possibility. But I'm hoping, because what we got from Attack of the Clones was a young adolescent, someone who was coming to his own, but he was still training. We still saw that he was still within training, but again, those emotional beats were there. Everybody wants to say he was whiny. But of course he was. It made sense for him to actually be that way in that film.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It made a lot of sense. Going into Revenge of the Sith, we saw a more mature character who's dealing with, number one, he's still reeling from the loss of his mother. Anybody would, you know what I mean? Now knowing that there's a possibility that you can lose someone else that you love, it's a lot to take in. At the same time, being loyal to the Republic, loving, looking at Obi-Wan as somewhat of not just a brother, but a father figure as well. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to take in when you're looking at those things. Feeling betrayed by the Jedi Order, wanting to fulfill a destiny that he knows is in the hands of that Jedi Order who doesn't really trust him. You know what I mean? Him looking at Palpatine also as like a mentor, and doing what he can or would do anything, to fulfill or appease or please him. Him killing off Dooku, knowing that it was wrong, but at the same time thinking that it was the right call by Palpatine. A lot of things that he's going through in this film. Now, what we're going to actually see in this series is a more remote. I think this is what I want to see, and what I would think we would actually see. We will actually get a badass Vader, but you're going to also get a torn Vader. Because remember, he's still young. He's still dealing with the loss of Padme, which he basically right now probably feels as though, based off what the Emperor told him, is that he killed her. You know what I mean? So we're still dealing with this. At the same time, he's dealing with the anger and what he sees as betrayal of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is the same thing. He's dealing with the simple fact that he absolutely loved Anakin and wanted to help. He did not want to have to do what he did, but he had no choice. He had already gone down that road, down that path. There was no talking him out of it. But at the same time, feeling as though he betrayed him in training, not seeing these things, seeing like that emotional turmoil, but not attacking it at the root. These are things that he's dealing with. So again, I I cannot wait for this. Of course, there's going to be some hot toys. Of course, we're going to see some. You know what I mean? We're going to see some Inquisitors. I cannot wait for that. You might even see more Jedi, and they're holding their cards because you might, to be quite honest, you might even see a flashback, and we might even get Padme in this show. You never know. You never
that
know.
Would be like,
you know what I mean? It's
maybe
not
spill
the
my
realm of
coffee,
possibility.
baby. Where is it?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, because I haven't even considered that honestly till you said it. But you're right.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we might get Natalie Portman in there.
Yeah, it could.
Oh wow, brother cousins! I am so looking forward to this. And Lael was bringing up a lot of good stuff. RM bringing up a lot of good stuff. Brought up Hot Toys. I mean, I can't wait to see what's going on with Hot Toys. This seems to be the big thing. Vader, Obi-Wan, Vader. But I do think that there's other things in the bag with this. I do feel like they're going to tie this in. With the Mandalorian, with some of the storylines going on with Grand Admiral Thrawn, Ahsoka specifically too, with that possibly. Well, I really think with Grogu that's the time. You know, we saw 5-0 first in the Book of Boba Fett. I'm so looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with this. And at the same time, with all the what are they going to do, I'm just satisfied seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen again. I want to see the best battle again. Well, second best battle because I love the wall. Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson one. But your thoughts, man? Are you really stoked for this?
Yeah, I'm just blown away by some of the things that Lael was saying. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, just to see that, to see Anakin, well, Darth Vader at this point, a young Darth Vader still coming to grips for everything that's happened, and just seeing that emotional turmoil. I think that's going to be great from a storytelling aspect. When you bring up like Grogu, at first I was like, Grogu, really? But then I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, tying that all back to Order 66 and how did he get out of there? How did he get out of that situation? They alluded to it. Well, they did. They alluded to it bigly in Book of Boba Fett. But yeah, really giving us that payoff of really how did he get out of there? Maybe we find that out in this show. And then looking at when you bring up Ahsoka, how they tied. I mean, one of the biggest things in the Book of Boba Fett for me was not only getting that time with Luke, but actually getting Luke and Ahsoka and just tethering it together, all that together, the Clone Wars and the original trilogy together was just amazing just to see that. So just the thought that we may possibly get more moments like that in this show is just phenomenal. It blows my mind. It really blows my mind. I think this show is going to be the best show on Disney, Star Wars show on Disney Plus. I really think, well, they can't go wrong with it.
No, and Will, going to you to hear this sound, and I know, I don't know, I feel like maybe we're not talking about it enough, but I'll do it. I mean, to see him on here, I know we got him again in Rogue One, but I don't know. I think I'm going to get chills down my spine. Is it possible I'm going to lose my mind when I see Darth Vader? How is he going to be? And I agree with RM. I don't want to see no, but I think he's going to have some conflicts. I think it's going to be awesome to see how he's dealing with it, what's going on. But do you think we're going to get more than just a flat? I feel like we're going to get a heavy dose of Hayden Christensen as this. What say you?
I think so too. I think Lael raises a really good point there, and the fact that you probably are going to see a more conflicted Vader. You are going to see a Vader that's still, finding his way because he's a new Vader, right? Like he's still pretty much Anakin Skywalker. I mean, like he's still learning to be Vader at that point, right? And I think that's a very cool time period because it's a very intimate look at Vader and Anakin and what he eventually becomes. So I think it's kind of more attached to that. And also, why bring Hayden back if you're not going to use him? So like, because you could easily put anyone in the Darth Vader suit and get James Earl Jones to do the voice or whoever to do the voice, right? Why bring Hayden back if you're not going to show his face? Exactly. So there's no point really. Like there's no point to bring him back. Yeah, if you're not going to do that. So to me, and you can hear the excitement in Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen talking about it, saying like, we're happy to be back on screen together. That means on screen together, not just as Vader, but as Anakin. So I think you're going to see Hayden's face. I think you're going to get flashbacks. That would be my guess. There's only 6 episodes, and I think if you go back and watch that scene, I've seen so many videos of it edited together where Alec Guinness performed it perfectly because he left it so open-ended. He, with his performance talking about Luke's father and, what it meant to him and like his facial expression, you could see the pain in his face, right? Talking about it. And I think they need to explore that in this show. I think they need to, like, Obi-Wan after, Revenge of the Sith, he's like, that's got to be pretty scarring for him, right? Because he's off in the desert. He just had his prized pupil who he loved dearly turn on him, and he had what he thought killed him, basically. Like, that's got to be extremely traumatic, right? So that's got to be something that he's got to live with, and he's going to deal with maybe PTSD type situation where he's got to deal with that. And then now that past is coming back, and he's got to confront it again.
Yeah.
Right. And that's got to be something that I think that's got to be explored. In order to do that, you got to go backwards and re-explore it, or even explore other areas that we didn't see. Some other fill in the gaps type Clone Wars stuff where you get Obi-Wan and Anakin where he's training him more. And he talks about maybe Anakin showing signs back then of turning to the dark side. Things that Obi-Wan stops him. Moments like that. So that's why I think there's going to come the possibility of collectibles Anakin reissues or Clone Wars Anakin, or different Obi-Wan with the Clone Wars outfit. You're going to get, I think, a lot of cool things. I predict, it's all speculation. We know nothing. I'm predicting they have a fight, obviously, because they've already confirmed they have a fight, right? So they have a rematch. Obi-Wan gets a nice hit on him, slashes his mask in half. You get a battle damaged Darth Vader, right?
That'd be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, with all these Vaders, we've loved every Vader Hot Toys has made. But the new one that we're about to get, maybe a 2-pack. Maybe you get a battle damage Vader and an Anakin or something, right? Maybe you get a dark side Anakin and a battle damage Vader. And that's going to be that kills all the Grails, right? Because
and maybe a more posable Vader.
Right.
It's a younger version. So.
And could you imagine Lael with a Sith eye and like it split down the middle like that? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I think we're going to get some crazy stuff because Dave Filoni, I mean, he knows what the fans want to see. Like, he wants.
But you know what? I was thinking about something, though, too. Hayden Christensen, I did read that he didn't want to shave his hair off. And Will, you were missing for a few weeks, and you are the right height.
Stunt double, bro. Stunt double.
Will, what are you? I don't feel like it's telling us the whole story.
I got the height, bro. I got the height. So I can do it. Right? If I put on a little muscle, I could have the same body as me. I could do it. So, but dude, I think you guys are right. I think we're gonna see. I don't even throw out the idea of we get a dark side Anakin reissue. Maybe they throw a brief flashback of that night where Anakin orders 66. Yeah, Order 66 layout where he goes back. Maybe he has Sith eyes that night in the redo. Right?
Yeah.
So like that, maybe they do another Order 66 thing where somehow they shove Grogu in there and you see something happen with that.
And you know what? And Will, you're right though, because if they did that, and I think Brother Cousins, you were alluding to that as well. Like they might show us the complete flashback in the book of in Obi-Wan. Right. What happened to Grogu? Like they just might show us who it was that actually got him out. So they could do something like that. And so that's a good point, bro.
Because they never mention anything about Mace again. Maybe Mace does run back in and he fights Anakin real quickly and runs off with Grogu, and that's it. Like, and and Anakin knows that, but it's never mentioned. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
I agree with you, Will, but I don't want them to have as much Grogu as they had in the Book of Boba
I get it. I don't think there's going to be a lot. I think it's going to be like a quick little thing. Like I would think like Anakin's slaughtering everybody. He's killing everybody. And then you briefly see something real quick, Grogu real quick. Someone runs in and snatches him. You get your answer of who saved Grogu, and then you move on. Like, but I give it you.
I think it'd be sweet.
I get you with Grogu overload.
Just a little bit, but not too much.
And then they'll have an Anakin Grogu
2-pack. Wait, just a little coffee.
Wait, could you imagine Aries an Anakin Grogu 2-pack?
My god!
Or a Mace Windu Grogu 2-pack. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you have to wonder if that's really going to happen because of some.
Well, you know something, brother? It's the Hot Toys Wizard coming in as Loco Lou, and I'm letting you know right now, you better hit that like button, you better hit the subscribe, you better share that bad boy to around the world, because it's about the millions and millions of Hot Toys that's coming in from the Hot Toys Wizard, going to the Dark Jedi himself, Aries Harrington. You already know. And what you're gonna do when the wizard himself runs wild on you.
I'm fucking crying.
That shit was wild.
Man,
That escalated real quickly.
man, who wants a refill,
Yo.
baby? Because I'm
Loco!
Wow.
Wow!
Loco Lou hitting us out of the park.
Oh my god!
Yo!
It
Okay.
must be that time of the
tears.
show. Come on.
Oh shit! So,
Wow.
they're probably back. You know?
Wow!
Man, I mean,
Yo! Wow! Okay.
the wizard. So listen, you have to wonder.
You just gonna just go right back to it? Wait a minute. We need to gain our composure.
A little bit of Grogu or a lot of Grogu. And oh my god, that is
that was good.
Absolutely insane. All right, everybody in here, I could flash these all up. Boom, boom, from Sick, Bugman, Loco Lou said, what did I miss?
What did I miss?
Big Dog Pound with the Ric Flair avatar. Goodness gracious. Andrew F. More beer, more whiskey, more vodka. I think you're talking about Stone Cold, baby. Latoya T is loving it. Paul Morales says,
good.
You killed it.
Yo!
Oh my God. That is just,
That was so
it is
funny.
just so crazy. Well, listen,
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm going to go to you then. With that interruption.
I gotta watch it again.
Hot toys. Hot toys.
Yeah, Hot
Are
Toys.
we gonna get something? Will was bringing this up. You had the interruption. Is there something going on here that maybe we get something Obi-Wan or Vader or Obi-Wan before this show? Before May 25th? Is something before? Is it going to happen during it? Is everything you think going to drop right after it?
Yeah.
You think it's going to go after it? Talk to me, baby.
Yeah, I think after, and I agree with everybody here on this. And I you remember I said this before too. I knew they were going to do Clone War flashbacks. I knew they were, and now they came out with the like official announcement. You know what I'm saying? I knew they were going to do it. I knew they were going to do it. Like Will's saying, it's Filoni. He knows what the fans want. You know, like everybody's saying, like, okay, Jedi Fallen Order, like you were mentioning, was like, that was badass. Like when we see Vader like in his prime, in my opinion, prime, because we haven't really seen. I mean, Rogue One, yes, they did kind of give us that end scene, but for the most part, Vader's slow and, you know, but not like at the end of Rogue One, and not in the video games. He's agile, he's fast, you know, he's fierce, and that's what I want to see in the show, and that's what I want to see out of a hot toy. You know, I want posability. All our Vaders are great, but they can't pose for shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're
like,
just
that floating action, you know, like where sometimes they show him, I guess, I don't know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, 6th scale, where he floats, like he, rather than walking.
It's
you
like
know,
a glide almost.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like some kind of exactly. So I think, yeah, dude, I'm down. I don't. Will said it perfect. They're gonna do something with the dark side Anakin, whether it's a 2-pack, whether it's some kind of variation. That's gonna kill the secondary market, and hopefully we can put all this to bed. Like, nobody talks about Nightmare Batman anymore. Right. Nobody talks about Mark I War Machine anymore. You know
Mark
what I mean?
47,
Why? Because they're hitting that $600, $700, $800 range, and then Hot Toys is just like, there you go. Yeah. And then it kills the market, and then the hype's dead, and people are like, hey, I'm just gonna order this at retail now. So this whole, and it's fun to talk about, right? And we refer to it all the time. A lot of people say like the Grail of the Grails is like the Anakins, right? The dark sides, and you know, and Hot Toys knows that, and this is a perfect opportunity for them. They didn't even have to do anything. They didn't have to do anything. They just had to kick back and wait for Disney to say, hey, we're making an Obi-Wan show. Hey, guess what? We're going to have Hayden Christensen again.
Yeah, it's...
So, you know, it's perfect for Hot Toys to just be like, let's get that money.
It really is. And Dante, I'm going to you because, and I think Will brings up a great point here. with the fact that
his face. Where's
yeah, I gotta go here. I gotta
I'm
go.
hiding,
Where is
I'm
Mark?
hiding.
No, it's Market Show.
Oh damn it!
Yeah,
There we go.
I was hiding perfectly.
we're
I was
packed in
perfectly.
here
Our
tonight.
just got to be over just a little bit.
I'm sorry.
I
I had to mute myself and take my off camera. I was laughing my ass off in the background.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
figured you had to
Loco
have that
Lou,
laugh
that was
Come
probably
on.
the best one I've seen yet.
Yeah.
Like he killed
Absolutely.
that. Like
Let's give him a hand. That was really good.
Yeah.
Good job there, bro.
yo,
Yeah,
he
that's-
went, yeah, but go
That's gonna need
ahead.
an
Go
encore,
ahead.
man.
Go ahead.
Well, listen. Speaking about look, that speaking about what figures are absolutely imminent, and I really do think that the Clone Wars Kenobi Dante is coming. I think Will brings up a good point. I think you mentioned it, a couple of times during the show. He's probably going to be in that outfit at some point during the Obi-Wan show in a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be perfect to have it released then. Is that, you think, possibly what's going on? And because I think it'd be phenomenal, because then you can come out with that figure. You can come out with possibly another look that he has, from a flashback. If you're going to see Anakin flashbacks from the Jedi Temple, like to everyone's point, you can reissue that dark side Anakin because now it's part of the show. In addition to other figures of Obi-Wan and Anakin, we may get a ton of these figures. Just Obi-Wan and Anakin, you might be talking about 4 figures. It could even be more. It could be 5. But not even talking about any of the other people in the show. What say you?
Yeah, I think that show, and I mentioned this many times, that's gonna be the closest thing we're gonna get to the LT, right? We're gonna have Anakin, we're gonna have Tarkin, probably we're gonna have Vader, probably Palpatine as well. So we're gonna get a bunch of stuff. Despite that, we're probably gonna get, as Anthony mentioned, flashbacks, more clone troopers, maybe Dark Side Anakin. So I think this is gonna be the show where we're gonna see this, besides Mandalorian, right? That we got so many figures. This is gonna be the show that we're gonna see a bunch of figures, and 100% agree with Will. We're probably gonna see different versions of Vader, different versions of Anakin, different versions of Obi-Wan. Me personally, I would love to have that version of Obi-Wan, an older version. It's not like the old one, like the A New Hope, but it's in the middle. Maybe longer hair, bigger beard. Like I would love to see that. I think this is gonna be the show where they're gonna make a bunch of figures.
Yeah, I think they're going to make a bunch of figures too. Brother Cousins, let me go to you with this. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of figures from the from this Obi-Wan series, particular Anakin and Obi-Wan. But one thing that I think you just brought it up, Dante, the Emperor. I do really think you're probably going to get Ian McDermott in this. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but I kind of feel it that he's going to be perhaps in this, maybe an opportunity to put the Emperor in. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna happen. And I mean, absolutely. When you think of Vader, you think of Palpatine, you think of the Emperor right behind him there, standing there. And I mean, that's just the perfect way to pull him in. And we're going to get that. And I would love for them to re-release it personally, because I missed that figure. I missed the Emperor on the throne. And I just wish I could have had that. Wish I got it at that.
I mean, I feel like, Brother Cousins, that the Emperor is still going to be like messing with Anakin's mind a little bit. Like I can see him not being in this. Of course, they couldn't get him in, or it's too much. But I feel like to the points in here about some of the stuff that he's got to be in there.
Well, Aries, I did want to say, and I don't hope I'm not cutting you off, Brother Cousins, that we all know that the Emperor is constantly putting Vader in compromising situations. Where he's like almost lost his life there. And then, like there's another time where, he's kind of escaping a lot of times. And I also hope we see maybe 1 or 2 times like that, where it was almost over for him. And somehow he pulled through. And that would be kind of cool to see as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's get to the final stretch. My favorite part of the show. The fun has already begun. We got the epic Hot Toys Wizard interruptions. The Is It Possible section of what is going to be coming soon. This is I'm going to bring this up. I've brought this up before. You know what's very interesting? We're talking about, and Lael, I'm going to go to you first. We're talking about, figures, how many they're going to come out with the Obi-Wan series. I don't think we're even begun to see what we're going to get for the Book of Boba Fett. But the thing that's interesting, I don't feel like we're done with the Mandalorian season 1 and 2 is what's interesting. I feel like we've got more this year, announcement-wise, to go with the Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. And I was looking at what characters are left, what characters they don't necessarily need to tease in order to just come out with an announcement. Here you go. I've brought this one up before, but now with all the hype coming with the Obi-Wan, the Boba Fett series ending very favorably, and especially favorably to, to a lot of people out in the general public. The last chapter 7 being 36%, more views than the Mandalorian season 2 finale. It's very hot right now. I really feel like that this is coming. This would actually not surprise me if it came tomorrow. If it came next week, maybe it's a few months away. Certainly before the Mandalorian season 3. I just feel like with everything Mandalorian, we can't forget that Mandalorian figures from the Mandalorian show are going to be coming. So I'm putting this one up. Grief Karga. He is directing again, I found out, some episodes in season 3. Carl Weathers. I feel like that this is something that I'm not going to be surprised. I feel like it's 1,000% coming this year. I would actually be a little shocked if we have to wait for this figure for season 3 for any reason. I feel like it's going to come now. I don't feel like we're done with Mandalorian. But go ahead, go. Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, Lael, you're muted.
I don't want to tell you that you're wrong. I would hope. Here's the thing, man. Like I said, I mean, I without really going so deep into a track record and a pattern, it's hard to tell at this point. It really is hard to tell at this point, because if this was something that we were going to see, we'd have saw it a while ago, And I don't know why it's taking so long. Like, I mean, he was first episode. He was in the entire season 1. He was in entire season 2. Well, actually, most of season 2. Like, come on, man. Like, it makes so much sense to give us this character. I mean, especially if you want to round out the Mandalorian, this season itself, this just the trilogy, or if you want to call it that. But I don't know. It's hard to really put a finger on it, because it would have happened. It would have happened a while ago. Is it out of the realm of possibility? No. I mean, I would actually more so say that we would get him season 3 if he has a more prominent role, which they said that he will. I can imagine seeing it then. I'm still going to question why it took that long, but at the same time, I'll just be happy that we finally got it. Come on, man, it's Carl Weathers, bro. Like, this should have actually happened already. And I don't know why it didn't. It's not like he was attached at the hip to Cardoon, and we already know where that went. Like,
and he wasn't a small character either.
No, like, he wasn't a small character, and he had a very, very interesting role. And especially the role his role, what he plays right now, in the series. Why we don't have him right now is just it's beyond me. But I would hope that we would. I have hope. I'm trying to be as optimistic as I possibly can, beyond Hot Toys track record, beyond the simple fact that it's something that we've wanted. I'm just hoping that they're listening. I hope that they're paying attention. Here's the thing. I would say that we have more of a chance of getting a reissue of Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, than we would of getting this particular character. Why? Number one, I would actually say because it is within the realm of Star Wars, and right now, Hong Kong isn't showing that much love. I mean, but we are actually getting Moff Gideon, so hopefully there's a possibility that we will get this. So, like I said, I'm just throwing it up in the universe. I'm hoping that Howard Chan is listening. I mean, maybe, Man of Hot can do that, segment on his show when he, talk to Howard Chan and, basically.
Dear Howard.
Dear Howard, I hope, but I don't know. I mean, it's just we just have to wait and see right now. It's just it's going to be a wait. And look how long we've basically waited for Lando. We've waited for years to get that. I think that probably if we get this, I don't want to wait until 2075, when I'm just nowhere near. I'm actually on my deathbed with an IV in my arm, like, oh, we finally got him.
You finally got
him. Like, yeah, like I don't, like literally, like I don't want that, man. I'm hoping that it actually comes soon because I know there will be a lot of happy individuals. You know what I mean? You look, Hot Toys. There was an Apollo Creed you gave us years ago. I mean, come on, man. Like, make this happen. I don't see why you wouldn't. It's out there. Let's go. Come on, just give us Grief Karga. Like, it's because the thing is, it rounds out the series. I still, despite what happened, I still want a Cardoon. I want them all, man. I just want to complete that line.
I'm the same way. I just want the whole line.
You know what I
I
mean?
want everything that was on the screen.
Yeah.
And you bring up some really good points. Aaron, let's go to you. And I understand that there was some. Maybe it's the Cara Dune thing because they wanted a pair, but I agree with Lael. The more I'm thinking about it, I don't really think that they were really joined at the hip. I feel like that Grief Karga is his own character in here. He's in season 1, he's in season 2. I mean, I can make an argument that he's just as important, or was on screen probably more than Giancarlo Stanton with the Moff Gideon. I do think that if we don't get him now, we better get him with season 3. But with how good these Mandalorian figures are selling, no matter what they put out with the Mandalorian tag, unless it's the Blurg by itself, which is having difficulty moving, I think this would be fantastic. But what say you on this? Are we going to get this? Are we going to get the announcement this year? Look, even if it is for season 3, I think it's supposed to start October. It'd be great to just finally get this in. I don't think we're done with the Mandalorian, but I feel like this is a big piece, though, that we're missing.
Yeah, it really is, for a lead character, because he is a lead character in the story as far as I'm concerned, who, pretty much was the main information provider to Din, for a good portion of the story and pretty much his only contact a lot of times to what was going on with the guild. It's surprising that we don't have this figure. And it's also surprising because it's Carl Weathers, who, really is, for a man, even though he's older now, through the years, this guy's been iconic. He has incredible physical condition. He's played in roles that we all know. And, it should have been a shoo-in that his figure would have been one of the ones that would have been issued first, kind of representing those elements about him and just the nostalgia alone. He carried a lot of the parts of the story where, Din was kind of, very ignorant at times. And, Karga would kind of say, well, this is how the thing is running now. And it's not a bad place. And, kind of really presenting the story in a framework for people who are not Star Wars fans and don't know anything about Star Wars, but they're watching the story and they can get all the information they need from Grief Karga. And even the part where he contacts Din and offers him a second chance, these kind of interactions where, Din, I kind of think that Grief Karga felt like he was friends with Din in a way, even though they shot each other and all that sort of stuff, they would get over it, they'd work it out. But the idea is that he wasn't just sort of, somebody who just provided him a puck all the time. A lot of times he's like, maybe you need to slow down. Maybe, this is the better thing for you. And while it's true that the character might have been looking out for themselves, it was clear that he did have Din's best intentions as far as I'm concerned. He didn't want to kill the guy. He didn't want to, wish him ill will. So I think that it's very interesting that a character that had so much importance in the story, a bounty hunter, and he's the leader of the Guild of Bounty Hunters. That should have been a shoo-in. There should have been, a bunch of stuff offered, of him. And, it was kind of disappointing that we didn't see that. But, hopefully they're going to go forward and do right by him. As far as I'm concerned, he's iconic. Any figure of Carl Weathers, I'm desirous of. Because of all the roles that he's played. And every time we've seen him, he looks fantastic. He looks incredible, as a younger man as well. But he just kept the physique. And I think that, you know, in addition to his ability as an actor, which he clearly has acting ability, he also has a directorial ability. So, you know, they're kind of getting, you know, the total package. You know, he looks good in front of the camera, and he's able to produce behind the camera. So as far as I'm concerned, we need a figure for this man, and we need now. We need it now.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, no, it's a really, really good stuff there, RM. And Big Dog Pound, thank you for the $10 drop. Aries, Dark Jedi, and Boss Espa La Familia just muscled up the Pike Syndicate to make that coffee Kessel run. Come on. Come on now. Let the coffee spilling continue, baby. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Cousins, let's go to you. And thank you so much for that $10 drop, Big Dog Pound, because this actually comes up from Seth Rackup. And Seth, thank you for this $10 drop. And Brother Cousins, do you think that the lack of African-American figures for both Marvel and Star Wars is race-based? Like Mace Windu is a big character. So many Lando options, Finn. So this fits right in with what we're talking about. What say you on this?
I mean, it would be naive to say that it doesn't play a part. Absolutely. I think it does. Aside from that, I also think it's the market. I think it's financial aspects of it as well. They don't think a particular character is going to sell. You take a look at the Black Panther line. They made a lot from that line. And they knew that those figures were going to sell because it was $1 billion movie. So absolutely they did that. But here it is. Here's the, sorry to say it, the bullshit of it. They could have went deeper on the Black Panther line. We could have got an Okoye. We could have got, you know, we could have went way deeper with that line. We could have got the Dora Milaje. We could have got so much more potential to build out that universe. So absolutely with that. Yeah, they make certain figures. I mean, you look at how long it took to get a Lando figure, and Lando's OT.
Yeah.
But then you look at the sales from Lando, and then some people's like, well, Lando is sitting. So you got to look at that too. I mean, it's two way. I mean, it's two ways to look at it. But I think it does play a small factor into it. But then you have, I mean, let's look at also when we think of the what's the name of the movie? Thor Ragnarok. You look at Tessa Thompson's character, Valkyrie. Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And she's a big character. She's just as important as anybody of any other supporting character in that. And we get a Stan Lee figure, but we don't get a Valkyrie. So yeah, it kind of does. And bringing it back to Grief, I mean, we should have had this figure a long time ago. This should have been in the first line of Mandalorian figures. I mean, the costume, everything looks great. And I mean, I get it. Some people may feel that he's not toyetic. And I mean, he wouldn't be as toyetic. But if you look at that costume right there, you look at the layers and everything, Hot Toys would kill that. That would be amazing to do that. And the fact that, you know, that we're not getting it, yeah, kind of messed up. But to be fair on the other side of it, would you get this figure or a heavy Mando figure? I think a lot of this panel will probably get that heavy Mando figure before we get this figure. Me personally, I would get this figure because it's a damn Carl Weathers figure. Come on, man. It's Carl Weathers. Are you killing me? That's Carl Weathers, Action Jackson. Come on, man. No. So we would definitely, you know, Apollo Creed, we would definitely get that. I would get that figure just as, you know, being a collector.
Yeah.
But I do think there's others out there, and you look at the other markets out there. They just look at, hey, I want heavy Mando. Come on, you know. So yeah, it's yes. I guess what I'm saying is yes and no.
No, it's a good answer. Will, let's go to you because it's an interesting thing for me. And I've talked about this so many times before. I'm really into the head sculpts with Hot Toys. See these vehicles today, the DeLorean looks like that they, you know, it's really opening the door of some of the intricacies they can do and so much more. And sometimes I guess we could overlook, you know, the cloth and some other things that come with the figures. But for me, I mean, always looking for the head sculpts. I think a lot of people know, at least right now, I only collect troopers with head sculpts. I love that because only so much I can get. So I really want Hot Toys for the head sculpts. Where is this figure? I feel like that there's more that are going to come from the Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. But at the end of the day, I think we're still getting the Mandalorian season 3, and this could come. I'm just really surprised with how well these are selling, with the exception of the Blurg. I get that with the Blurg, but with everything else except with the Blurg and Quill, these are all just, when it comes out to when his Mandalorian releases, this is a prominent character. But I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like this one is going to be coming, though, announced this year. But what say you?
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. I think I tend to more so fall in line with Brother Cousins on this one, because I feel some conflict on this one, just because I understand the desire for him, because it is Carl Weathers. Like, Carl Weathers, dude, the guy is a legend, right? He's one of the most prominent actors in the world. I mean, even though he's not as much stuff today, what he's done in the past, with Apollo Creed and then Predator and other stuff he's in too, right? Like, the dude is a legend for a reason. So that said, though, if you look at his character and how, Brother Cousin said, how toyetic he is, right? That's kind of, I think, the dilemma, because his season 2 outfit I see more as toyetic, because it looks more regal. It looks more kind of like Lando to me. Like, it kind of has like a Lando vibe to it. Yep. But if you look at kind of the season 1 outfit, it's kind of that's not really going to pop on a shelf, whether it's Carl Weathers or not, right? So, and I think Brother Cousins raises the really good point, because if you're looking at it okay, a lot of collectors are having to make decisions. Do I want to buy Tobey Maguire and Andrew, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, or do I want to buy Carl Weathers, right? And that's kind of the decisions most collectors are going to have to make. And that's a pretty easy one for most people, just objectively, I feel like, right? Or you're looking at Heavy Mando, or, I'm surprised Axe Wolves got made, to be honest, but he's probably just because he's so cheap to make. There's no head sculpt. They pretty much already have the outfit from Death Watch Mando, make a couple small adjustments, and boom, he's easy. Whether he sells or not, Hot Toys is he's cheap as hell to make, so we don't really care. But with Grief Karga, it's a little bit more difficult, because you got to get the likeness, things like that. So that's why it's tricky. Because Moff Gideon, I don't think there's a problem there of him selling. I think Moff Gideon is I don't know, Grief Karga, we don't really see him do that much. That's kind of the problem too. He does some fighting, but the figures that tend to sell, I think, are the ones that have the warrior aspect to them, right? Even Lando doesn't really do much fighting either, but you put a blaster in his hand, yeah, he still looks pretty badass. And to me, I kind of look at it as, I played Battlefront with Lando, and that's kind of how I view him. I played Battlefront 2 with Lando, where he wreaks havoc if you pick him. He's a badass. So that's kind of how I view it. But I get that argument too. So that's why I understand both sides of it. But then there's also the idea of hey, Cara Dune, she didn't really get canceled till after season 1, right? We never got a Cara Dune from season 1. We never got a Mayfeld. We never got a Cobb Vanth. There's a lot of characters in this show that are probably still coming, just a matter of time, right? So I think Grief Karga probably will be made, but it's not I see it as a slam dunk. I don't see it as a slam dunk that it's going to sell. It's a Mando line figure, and it's Carl Weathers. Those are its 2 biggest traits. But if you took the figure, I think, on face value, I don't know. I think there's if there was nothing else coming out at that time, people were oh yeah, I really want a Grief Karga or a Carl Weathers. I could see it, yeah. But I think the problem is when you throw it into a stacked lineup of really great Hot Toys releases, then that's where it becomes problematic, because there's a lot of people, I think, that would probably not sign up for this figure. They'd say they would, but then when the time comes, when he's $275, that's a lot for a character like Grief Karga, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Unless he has a badass look, which he, in my opinion, he doesn't really. The main selling points, I think, are Carl Weathers, which is an amazing actor, and that he's in The Mandalorian, right? So if you want to complete the Mando line, yeah, he's important, but just, in my opinion, objectively, I don't feel like he's a slam dunk, It's kind of a lot of people with Finn, right? Finn, amazing figure. I really like Finn as a character. I have the Finn figure, and I got it for so cheap. I was thrilled. But it's not like Finn. He's not in Mando, obviously. He's in the sequels, but Mando figures sell way better. But, it's not like Finn. It's the same kind of deal, right? We all want a Finn, but then some people bail out. So that's kind of the dilemma with Hot Toys, I feel like. Because if they're going to pay for the sculpt, how are they going to sell enough Grief Karga to make it worth it? But Lando, for that matter, Lando, I think he's done well. Lando's been sitting for a while, but a lot of figures are sitting right now. That's not abnormal, right? Iron Mans are selling way below retail. So, it's fairly regular. And I have Lando, amazing figure, really is. Yeah. I love it.
Well, I think there's a difference between sitting and selling, though. Just because he hasn't sold out. He's probably making sales.
I don't know. He was going for really cheap, though. He was dropping, but like I said, a lot of them are, so, except Pennywise. Pennywise is the only one. My boy is maintaining a strong retail price. So, he's holding strong. But for a while, Anthony, Lando, Tim Cent was giving him away. 160 shipped. So that's what I'm
they
saying.
gotta understand too, Asian markets.
Yeah, they don't care about Star Wars. Yeah. that's the
Well,
that's
not
the,
only that,
Right.
Not
they're
only
just
that,
that's just how they are, man.
Right. Yeah, I
it's
understand
not
that.
the
I understand
demographic
that.
for them.
But those resellers are selling to us. They're not. I don't think they're selling as much.
I get that, but at the
you know what
point
I
is
mean?
they're just probably sitting on a bunch because they
Right.
can't get rid of
They
this
probably
shit
maybe
over
bought
there.
too many. Yeah, but that's kind of my point. Like, but even Iron Mans are doing that to a degree, right? So like,
To a
and
degree,
Iron
yeah,
Man's always
sure.
been. So like, it's not just Lando. Like
But
everything.
like,
A lot of
but
figures
like
are
you
doing.
said, Will, like Will was saying, if you bring in like a Moff Gideon is probably going to fly.
Yeah, like Moff Gideon's
he's
different.
the
Yeah.
lead bad guy, and he's going to come with a damn dark saber. So it's like has like you said that warrior aspect to it, and it makes it a little bit more toyetic with the armor plating and everything. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a cool ass figure. It's more visually appealing. It's going to pop a little bit more. Reef Cargo would pop on your shelf, but mainly because it's Carl Weathers. But that's us in America. To other places around the world, they'd be like, "Oh man."
Right, like I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much.
But-
like, there's always the dilemma of like Asian market versus us. How much do they care about each? But like, I don't know. I think it would be a hard sell for Asian markets to care about Carl Weathers' figure. Like, I don't know.
See, my only thing about that is that, I mean, for instance, we got, The Last Jedi,
Right?
and we got that Leia, which wasn't really toyetic,
Yeah, it's true.
but they released it, and that figure sold out. It just took a while,
Right.
but it sold. You know what I mean?
Was she already? I hate to say it like this. Did she already pass on when they released?
That's
when
a
they
good
released
question.
She did. She passed, and people basically bought it, and I understand that aspect of it. But I'm just saying, we have her. Carrie Fisher, very prominent actress. Carl Weathers is a very prominent, historical, iconic, actor. You know what I mean? That we've known has been in certain IPs that it have been well received. You know what I mean? So, there's certain figures that aren't really as toyetic, but they sell. And they still basically put them out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's
a great question. Yeah.
And I get it, and I understand the argument. I mean, I definitely understand and I get it, but there's more to it. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes that needs to be addressed when it comes to these figures and comes to the figures that we want. Because look, we all know that if we actually got a Mace Windu, it would sell.
Yeah,
While we haven't gotten the
Mace is
Mace
easy.
already
Yeah,
right
Mace is
now,
easy.
I don't understand that. But if we would have got a Mace, it would actually sell. If we would have got a Valkyrie, if we would have got an Okoye, that Okoye would sell because everybody wants it, and it's a Black Panther line, and that thing would drop. Seriously, it would sell. So now we have to basically wait for Black Panther 2 to see whether or not we get an Okoye. Now, mind you, Okoye's been featured in pretty much almost every Marvel IP, even What If. So this is what I'm saying. Like, it without really get into it, because like I said, I don't want to get into it on this show. I'm just saying, Hot Toys, I'm just going to say, and I'm putting it out there, prove me wrong. Please. I beg you, Howard Chan, to prove me wrong. And then I will go about my merry way and buy your figures because that's what I want. But I'm just saying, like, from a certain aspect, yes, we can say that it's not toyetic. We can say basically that we don't know whether or not it's going to sell, but they have to give, if they gave some of these other figures a chance, they have to give it a chance to see whether or not it would move. Yeah. And I just think that, number one, we all know that Hong Kong they don't like Star Wars. They don't really like it that much. Howard Chan does.
Yeah.
But Hong Kong, they don't move those units as much. But at the same time, look what happened to Finn. Look at other IPs that we've actually gotten that would move those units, but they just haven't released the figures. Now, of course, they're going to give us a War Machine, of course, because it's an Iron Man figure. So that's going to sell, even though, the Iron Patriot, they're almost dusting that off for you at a low price. But, I mean, like, literally, they are. So... Yeah. But it's just the simple fact that they're not giving these other after you've come on, man, you give us a prototype of Valkyrie, and you gave us two prototypes, one that actually had the jointed arms, and then you did a revamp when it had seamless arms and a better head sculpt. But you haven't released that figure. So if you don't release that figure doing Thor: Love and Thunder, if you don't give us a Courier doing the next Black Panther, if you don't give us Grief Karga for season 3 of Mando, then what's the argument going to be? That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Valkyrie and Mace, I definitely would give you those, Lael, for sure. Those are a little more head scratchers to me.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
those, but I do, just as a quick rebuttal to that, I totally, that's a great question too, the Leia thing. I just think Leia and Grief Karga are not on the same level. Like I don't, like, you know what I mean? Like I get, like, Carl Weathers is a more probably a successful actor than Carrie Fisher, but in terms of Star Wars characters, like, I get it's a sequel figure, but I think more people would buy a Leia than a Grief Karga, because it's Leia. Like, it's Leia's one of the key Star Wars characters. I don't.
I know that,
think
but
they're
I'm
on the
just
same
talking
level.
about when we look at the aspect of how toyetic a figure is.
Yeah,
Because
that's
there's been
fair.
a lot of figures that aren't really as toyetic that have actually sold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the thing is, it's like there's a much deeper language to be kind of like, translated at that point. It's something
That's fair.
something else. But again, I'm just saying, prove me wrong and let's move forward. That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I think at the end of the day, any of these Mandalorian figures, it seems like, except Blurg, and I don't mean to be picking on the Blurg.
The Blurg.
It's not
The
selling.
Blurg gets the
It's
brunt of
not
it.
selling, But they need to put these out.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even believe the time here. My goodness gracious! I feel like, the vibe is awesome. This has been such an awesome show. I know some of us have to go with Saturday night, so I do want to wrap this up quick. But I'm like, holy cow! I could just talk for 5 hours. It's already 2.5 here. I know Anthony's got a show coming up. So listen, last final points, and we'll do the sign off and get out. I'm going to go to Dante and Anthony. You two fast, just real quickly. Final words on here, and I really think that I'm going to pull this up onto the screen because I think that I'm bringing him up. Grief Karga. I also have another image, R2, Grogu. And one of the things is I just feel like with the Mandalorian, I don't necessarily, and I hope we're not done. I hope we get Grief Karga. I think we're going to get this guy because he showed up. And I think that they already teased him, though, in this. So I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get the R2 to complete the Mandalorian season 2. We haven't even gotten to Book of Boba Fett yet. So just real quickly, Dante, do you see any of these figures coming this year? I actually see all 3 of them getting announced this year, whether it's for this show or for Mandalorian season 3. But go ahead, go quick.
Yeah, I think it is possible. I think we're gonna see Kapanth coming, especially because we saw the after credits on the Book of Boba Fett that he didn't die. So yeah, definitely happening sometime this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And you, Anthony?
Yep. That's all it is. I don't
Short
need.
and
I don't
sweet,
need.
bro. Short and sweet.
Yep. No, he's of course. There it is, right there. What happens? Who knows? But he's coming. He has to.
Yeah, he's.
I'm just going to pull this up because I'm going to talk about it Monday night as we go and close here, and I'm going to SixthScaleCantina.com with everybody. And then, we're going to go in here and, talk about everybody's channel as we sign off. But when you go to SixthScaleCantina.com, I got a new section. Of course, we got the biggest movers section where you can see that Han and Chewbacca, New Hope, really, really skyrocketing in there. Real interesting with some other figures, and including the Chirrut continues to sink. Interesting. You got some interesting waves. But one thing that's interesting, and I'm pulling this up here, and if you guys
You see my girl. She's going up.
Jen in there?
You saw Jen on there,
I
boy.
didn't see
She
her.
was
I
going
missed
up,
it.
boy.
Where's
Did you
Jen?
see
Where
that?
is he? Yeah.
There she go,
Oh, Deluxe,
boy.
Universal Deluxe, yeah. I have the standard. I'm just saying.
And Lael, the Imperial disguise too. But I want
Yeah.
to show you guys something here because Star Wars is hot. We just finished Book of Boba Fett. You got Obi-Wan series, you got Bad Batch, you got Andor series, you got Mandalorian. So here's an interesting statistic here just to chew on. I'm going to dive into this Monday. Here's your Star Wars versus Marvel pre-order and in-stock comparison. Star Wars 1/6 in stock, 19. Marvel 1/6 in stock, 49.
Ooh, man.
Star Wars 1/6 2023 pre-orders. This is no joke. 3. That's all you got. So you got to think about that if announcements are going to be coming out. 1/6 for Marvel, 26 already in 2023. And then in total, Star Wars 1/6 total pre-ordered in stock, 56. You got 50 more, 106. with Marvel right now, pre-order and in stock. These are just, mind you, 1/6, not including the 1/4 scale figures. So stuff to chew on. Check out SixthScaleCantina.com out. I will be diving into this on Live and Raw this coming Monday for sure. But real interesting things, and certainly Star Wars. Hot Toys has a lot to fulfill this year with what's coming out for Star Wars and with Marvel. You have to wonder, are they going to have some difficulty fulfilling that? What's going on in 2023 for Star Wars? Because there's nothing. There's just 3 in there. So it's going to be real interesting stuff to dive into. I don't think there's going to be any right or wrong answer, but it's going to be a lot of fun to dive into it. Anthony, let's go to you first. I know you got a show coming up tonight. Let's go real quickly. If you want to set the timers up again, I don't mean no. This is just a lot of fun. We have fun with this. So you got 30 seconds or so. Go ahead, shoot. Well, I'll give you more. You got a minute to go, baby. Tell us what's going on your show and what time.
Well, thank you for inviting me. As always, it's a pleasure to be here with everybody. I know we started with more. I don't know what happened, but it was good to see everybody here who did make it. So awesome.
Internet problems, yes.
Yeah. I do have my stream, and I think I'm going to do it in 45 minutes from now. That way there's time to stretch and, whatnots. And then, so that's really cool. I've been doing our Spotlight Hour interviews, which you guys probably know about, and those watching. Everybody actually right here. We got brother, cousins, Dante, Will so far been on. Lael will be coming on here very soon, as well as Aries. And if you would like to, everybody's coming. We're doing one-on-ones. It's really cool. Get to know people a little bit more rather than just how you see us on panels. Why we started creating channels, why we collect things of that nature. It's been really awesome. If you haven't watched brother, cousins, Dante, I'm doing it backwards. Willfoxification. Fabio's somewhere in the chat that way. All 4 of them have already been on. It's been awesome. We got so much more coming. So between that and the streams and our posing reviews on Saturdays with Mario, dude, it's fun. It's a lot of good times, man. So again, pleasure to be here. Pleasure to have everybody tuning in and enjoying everybody here. So subscribe to everybody here. Awesome times. Hopefully I'll see you guys in a half hour or so on my stream.
Well, you don't want to miss that on Anthony 6th Scale Mafia stream coming up here in about 45 minutes. So make sure you tune into that. He'll have a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. Willfoxification. I'm sure you got a show every Sunday.
Yeah.
This was great having you in today. What's going on at Willfoxification?
Dude, so thanks so much as always for having me, Aries. Always a blast to be here and talk with the Hot Toys wizard himself in disguise. So, dude, always a blast. Seriously, we got Collectors Mingle. That'll be every Sunday. So that's every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Lael's always on there. He's my rock, my foundation on that show. Yep, Lael's on there. And then Dante's going to be on there, I think, tomorrow. He told me it was 95%. So I'm banking on those odds. I'm banking on the wife not stepping in and taking him away from me, pulling me away from him again. So he'll be on there. Not sure who else is going to be on there, to be honest. I think Joao is going to be on there too. Mr. Awesome. Third Party Reviews, who did his first live stream today, and that was awesome. Like, he was fantastic. So everyone give him some love for sure, because he was awesome. And I have a show I just did on Friday with Optical. So I'm starting this new, it's going to be a podcast, I think, that's going to kind of be on kind of like what Anthony was doing. Dante and I talked about this at one point too. It's going to be a little bit different though. It is going to be a one-on-one thing, but different topics than that. So it's going to be called Lights, Camera, Collect. So it's going to be pretty cool. So that's first episode of that is out. Eventually that will be on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So that's going to be out there. And Optical and I just did one last night. So that was pretty fun. And there'll be more of those. And I'll just do some one-on-ones, maybe even, 3 people in a panel or by myself. We'll see. Probably still going to do a creators review at some point. I did see Uncharted. Might review that. I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible though. So for people who want to go see Uncharted, not terrible, but not great. Anyways, that's pretty much just it from me, guys. So yeah, it was okay. I mean, Last of Us show will be better, hopefully. But it is what it is.
It will be better, bro.
It better be, bro. It's coming out 2023 though. I'm pissed. So
hey, that's just time to get it right. They're not rushing.
That's true, bro.
You can't rush perfection, bro.
That's true, bro. Pedro, bring it home, Pedro.
Yeah, come on,
bring
bro.
it home.
They don't need it. Well, listen, make sure you subscribe to Willfoxification. I've got the link to his channel within the video description below. Show over your support. Same thing with Mafia. Talked about it before. My good friend Dante, Man of Hot Collectibles. So great having you in here. What a phenomenal show here tonight. And what is going on your channel, my friend?
Thank you, Aries, for the invite. Nice to see everyone, and awesome show tonight. So we have the boxing review of Classic Spidey is coming tonight at 9:30. So check it out. Is right now for members. So if you are a member, just feel free to check it out. We have the Between Collectors show on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we have our regular live streams on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern as well. So if you are interested in chatting figures with us, come join us. And yeah, that's all I have for now.
Well, make sure you subscribe to the Man of Hot Collectibles. I got the link within the video description below. Jay, brother Cousins, congratulations again. What's going on your channel?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for having me tonight. It's been awesome. I love talking this stuff with you guys. Yeah, so got my collection tour video coming up. I actually got it filmed, so that's coming up. I got the Terminator Arm Odyssey video that's coming up. That's going to be a crazy video, but funny and heartbreaking, and it's a little bit of laughs, a little bit of cries, it's a little bit of something in everything, and some lessons to be learned in that video. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. Then I'm doing a DeLorean, my DeLorean upgraded Back to the Future DeLorean, opposed to the new one, and doing a comparison to that and show how the upgrades with this one, even though it's upgraded to the Back to the Future 2 one, looking at the pictures to the official Hot Toys Back to the Future 2 one, how they differ. So that's going to be an interesting video, and I think that's about it so far. Yep.
Well, brother Cousins, thank you so much for coming in here. It's always an honor. Got the link to your channel. Make sure you subscribe to Brother Cousins. And it's so great having you in here for the first time. And I know your channel is Positive Fandom, correct?
Yes.
And what is going on there? Come on.
Well, of course, as you just stated, first of all, thank you for having me. This has been such a wonderful evening with all of you. My channel is called Positive Fandom on YouTube, and I also stream on Twitch on just one word, Positive Fandom, and I do reviews and live streams and much more as well. On Sunday mornings, I have a show called Sunday Brunch at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, where I do the parlay. We just talk and enjoy all the fandom stuff. On Monday nights, I stream with Lorena Creole on a show called Toxic Femininity. And on Wednesdays and Thursdays, often I'm on the 16ScaleMan network with Lael, either on Say What or Uncivilized Scoundrels. On Thursdays as well, I also stream with Lorena Creole. We're doing a series on the Reacher series, and we're reviewing it. And if you haven't seen the Reacher series, you need to watch it. So I'm going to.
Oh, it's great! It's great, man. I love it.
It is wonderful. And on Friday nights, Lael and I also stream together on Midnight Musings with Robert Meyer Burnett on his channel. And I also have shows on that channel as well, PGS Reviews and PGS All Stars. So please check it out.
Oh, that is awesome. And I've got the link to Positive Fandom, Rr's channel, within the video description below. Make sure you check her out on all those various things. And so great having you in here. Can't wait to have you back in here again, Rr. And last but certainly not least, we've got Lael, 16ScaleMan. What's going on, brother?
Oh man, thank you for having me as always, Eris. It's a pleasure to be on the show, man, and talk shop as we always do. So I'm so excited to be here as always. Anytime you need me, I'm always there for you. Awesome. Tomorrow, definitely we will actually have Take Your Position. It's going to be on the Iron Logan's channel. We alternate back and forth since we do the show together, so it'll be on his channel tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Monday is, of course, Comic Book Talk with Friends. We'll, basically be going through and just, talking about comics, new releases. I think this week we're going to, now here's the thing. I don't know because I'm not making this announcement because it is Toya's birthday on Monday. So I don't know basically if we will have Comic Book Talk with Friends on Monday. I'm not sure because we'll be celebrating her birthday. So, that It's just, that's to be determined. On Wednesday, of course, is Say What. Me, myself, Will, of course, will basically be there with his segment. So I'm excited about that. Also, Eris, you said you'll be there.
Yep.
Whoever else is actually going to be there. I mean, Brother Cousins, if he's not changing booties. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. More than likely. But yeah, definitely Mafia. But yeah, so basically we'll be having that. And then on Thursday, of course, is Uncivilized Scoundrels, where we talk Star Wars as we always do. Love it, live it. So why not talk about it? So if you haven't already, you can stay tuned for that show. And then on Friday is the newly minted 7 o'clock show, Figure Flex Friday. And we're kind of changing it up because we got a good response off of last night's show where we're going to actually just more so invite the fans. So the fan service more so, whereas they actually, they'll hashtag Figure Flex Friday and we'll pull up some of the pictures that they actually have. So that show is not only for us, but it's also devoted to the fans. So if you watch it, tune in, hashtag Figure Flex Friday, tag me in it, and I'll pull you up live, and we'll look at your collection, look at your figures that you want to actually flex on. So I love that show, man. I have so much fun doing it. Will was on last night, showing his flex. So definitely, man, I enjoyed that. So yeah, that's, and then of course, everybody else's channel, definitely, man, you want to stay tuned. And if you haven't already subscribed to everybody here, do that because it's a beautiful and amazing community. So why not? So thank you.
Awesome. Well, make sure you subscribe to Lael 16ScaleMan. I have the link to his channel and everybody's channel here within the video description below. You can also go to SixthScaleCantina.com, which I showed you a few different times today. In the links and resources section, you can get everybody's channel here on there as well for sure. And make sure you also subscribe to 6Scale Cantina. If you're watching this, you're enjoying the show, hit that subscribe button. I much appreciate your support. And if you didn't hit the like button yet, baby, make sure you go ahead and do that for sure. So again, look for me this coming Monday with Live and Raw, 8 p.m. Eastern. Of course, I've got the Aries Tarrington show coming up on 6 p.m. Eastern. The guest will be announced real soon, and of course the market show live coming next Saturday, same time, same station. And of course, like Lael said, you'll see me on Say What this coming Wednesday. I'll be on Dante's on Friday night, and I'm always around here, there, and everywhere. But this fun time tonight, and don't forget again to watch Mafia coming up here in probably 30 minutes now.
Appreciate
coming up here for sure.
Yes.
All right, and for everybody here, including Loco Lou, because that was the bomb.
That was the best.
That was nice.
That was pretty.
You may have to close with
that. I'm going to say, I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Let's go.